Chapter 1451. Long Out Yen, how did you find out that I am a demon? Lu Wu stared at Ling Xiao and asked coldly, as if he did not see Tong Yuan and the others. From Ling Xiao's words, he could tell that Ling Xiao had probably already discovered his identity as a demon long ago. It's simple. In the God-Devil space, I killed a genius of the Heavenly Devil clan, Bo Jia, as well as a demon god king. I'm quite sensitive to the aura of the Heavenly Devil clan, so when I fought with you 2 months ago, I already knew something was wrong. But at that time, I was not completely sure. Until today, when you tried to kill me with the 7-soul dispersal light, I was finally sure that you are a demon. Ling Xiao said indifferently, his expression incomparably calm. In fact, Ling Xiao did not sense Lu Wu's aura. Lu Wu hid it too well, but Ling Xiao used the incomplete secret technique of fate and the wordless heavenly book to sense that something was wrong with Lu Wu, so he kept an eye on him. Who would have thought? So many years of hard work have been ruined in a single day. Long Out Yen, you really deserve to die. But I still have a question. My 7-soul dispersal light is something that even a peak divine king could not resist. How did you come out unscathed? Lu Wu stared fixedly at Ling Xiao. This was the most puzzling thing in his heart. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, I have already answered one of your questions, so you should answer one of mine. Are you a demon or a human who has surrendered to the demon race? After hearing Ling Xiao's question, Lu Wu fell silent for a moment. His eyes revealed a trace of struggle and complexity. He slowly said, 10 years ago, I was still a human. Ling Xiao nodded. He already understood. Something must have happened to Lu Wu 10 years ago that made him decide to abandon his human identity and surrender to the demon race. Although Tong Yuan's expression was still cold, he was relieved in his heart. Luckily, Lu Wu was a human who had defected to the demon race. Otherwise, if he had been a demon race remnant from the start and had entered Ares College without being discovered after so many years, then Tong Yuan would have really been punished by the War God Temple. At the very least, it would have been hard to absolve himself of the blame. However, there was still room to salvage the situation. As long as Lu Wu was captured, it would be even better if he could interrogate a few more demons. Many disciples of Ares College were also in an uproar. Lu Wu surrendered to the demon race 10 years ago. Damn it! Such a person is one of the 9 kings of Ares College. We must kill him and avenge our brothers who died at the hands of the demon race. It's all thanks to Long Out Yen. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to discover his true identity. That's too scary. The disciples were all filled was a lingering fear, still lingering fear. There was actually a scum who had defected to the demon race by his side, anyone would feel scared in their heart. Who knows when Lu Wu would kill him? At this moment, Lu Wenqing had a dazed expression on his face. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Clearly, he didn't know that his big brother had actually defected to the devil race. Lu was not was that the demon was Wu was that. Lu Wenqing did not resist. At this moment, his heart was like dead ashes. Now, can you tell me how you neutralized the 7-soul dispersal light? Lu Wu did not seem to have given up on this question and asked Ling Xiao again. Ling Xiao did not answer him directly. Instead, he smiled faintly, and a strange look appeared in his eyes. Lu Wu, the dean and the elders have already locked onto you. Logically speaking, you should be dead for sure. But seeing how relaxed you look, I'm afraid you still have a trump card, right? Let me guess what your trump card is. Did you open the path to the demon realm and allow the demon race to descend? Or do you have a treasure that allows you to escape? Or do you have other tricks up your sleeves? Ling Xiao's words caused Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the rest to change their expressions. They had also noticed this. Lu Wu was too calm. He was so calm that it made their hair stand on end. Either Lu Wu was an idiot, or Lu Wu had a trump card. Regardless of which of the possibilities Ling Xiao mentioned, it was highly likely that the entire Ares College would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Kill him. Tong Yuan roared. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. An ancient golden sword appeared in his hand and slashed down at Lu Wu. Rumble. Vast holy light filled the air, causing the sky to tremble violently. This sword seemed to be able to wipe out everything. Holy treasure, a flawless holy treasure. As the dean of Ares College, the ancient golden sword in Tong Yuan's hand was a flawless holy treasure with unparalleled power. Lu Wu was about to be killed by this sword. Rumble. At this moment, Lu Wu's body suddenly emitted an extremely terrifying and monstrous aura. Rays of black demonic light soared as his black hair fluttered in the wind. His expression was cold, and his eyes were filled with disdain and cruelty. His entire aura had greatly changed. Lu Wu slashed down with his palm. Suddenly, there was a surge of heaven and earth energy. An invisible blade of light slashed down on the ancient golden sword. Rumble. Unparalleled holy light exploded. The ancient sword in Tong Yuan's hand buzzed and was sent flying. Lu Wu's figure flashed. His speed was extremely fast. He dodged Han Li and the rest's attack and appeared on a mountain peak tens of thousands of feet away. Ha ha ha. Long Out Yen, you are indeed very smart. I am getting more and more curious about you. But even if you guessed it, so what? Today, not only you, but the entire Ares College will be buried with you. Lu Wu laughed loudly. His voice was like thunder that shook the void. His eyes became incomparably cold, and his entire body emitted a monstrous demonic light. Moreover, strands of holy radiance spread out, making him look like an invincible demon saint. He emitted an aura that made people tremble all over. Have you really made up your mind? An old voice sounded in Lu Wu's mind. I have. In order to survive, so what if I have to betray the human race? What does the destruction of heaven and earth have to do with me? I will lend you this body. I only want Long Out Yen and the lives of everyone in Ares College. Lu Wu replied in a somewhat deranged manner. As you wish. The old voice sounded. Following that, Lu Wu felt a mysterious force enter his body and completely take over his body. His aura also increased rapidly. Soon, it reached an unfathomable level, causing the heaven and earth to tremble violently. The great existence in Lu Wu's body had taken over his body. You are not Lu Wu. Who are you? Ling Zhao's body trembled. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. He could see that Lu Wu's aura had changed greatly. His entire person had become extremely arrogant and majestic. His eyes were filled with cruelty and madness. His aura had far surpassed Tong Yuan's and Han Li's. It was as if an ancient demon emperor had awakened. Everyone's heart trembled. Chapter 1452. I'm Bo Yu. Little brat, I'm afraid you don't recognize me. 1,000,000 years have passed, and I'm back. This time, let's celebrate my return with the flesh and blood of everyone in Ares College. Lu Wu glanced at Ling Zhao emotionlessly and said with some emotion. His eyes were indifferent and deep, as if he could see through people's hearts. The aura he exuded made Ling Zhao feel extremely threatened. You are Demon Saint Bo Yu? How is this possible? Didn't your soul completely disperse? Hearing Lu Wu's words, Tong Yuan's body shook violently. He seemed to have thought of something, and his face was filled with horror. Demon Saint Bo Yu is the traitor of the Samsara Temple 1,000,000 years ago, the one who caused all the bloodshed. Han Li and the other elders from Ares College also had a change in expression. Their eyes were filled with shock. This was a peerless, ruthless person 1,000,000 years ago. Who would have thought that he was still alive and had attached himself to Lu Wu's body? Thinking of this, everyone's hair stood on end. Demon Saint Bo Yu? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He had found information about Demon Saint Bo Yu from the Scarlet Dragon War God's memories. He was a figure from the same era as the Scarlet Dragon War God, a peerless genius of the Samsara Temple. However, it was later discovered that he was a spy of the demon tribe. After betraying the Samsara temple, he caused a huge amount of bloodshed. In the end, he was besieged by the saints of the 12 holy lands, and his soul was completely destroyed. No one would have thought that he was still alive. My soul was destroyed. Ha ha ha. Do you think that trash can kill me? The 12 holy lands, I will destroy them one by one. The war god temple will be the first. Demon Saint Boyu laughed out loud, his eyes filled with killing intent that soared to the heavens. 1,000,000 years ago, he was seriously injured. His physical body was destroyed, and his soul was almost destroyed. If he had not used a secret technique to fake his death, he would not have survived. In the past 1,000,000 years, Demon Saint Boyu had almost died in order to recover his strength. 10 years ago, in a secret realm, he saved Lu Wu and persuaded Lu Wu to betray the human tribe and implant the heavenly demon tribe's bloodline in him. Demon Saint Boyu. So what if you're not dead? I'm afraid you don't even have the battle prowess of a devil saint anymore, right? As long as you're not a sage, you'll definitely die today. Han Li stared coldly at Demon Saint Boyu and said slowly. That's right. Dean, let's attack together and kill him. The other vice principals and elders also regained their senses at this moment. Their fighting spirit suppressed the fear in their hearts. After all, Demon Sage Boyu was probably just a primordial spirit now. Even if he was attached to Lu Wu, he could not burst out with too much strength. How ignorant. Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Demon Saint Boyu's eyes flashed with disdain. Rumble. His body flashed, and he instantly turned into a beam of blazing demonic light. His speed was extremely fast, and he appeared directly behind one of the vice presidents. Then, he reached out to grab him. Puff! The vice principal was unable to resist at all. A huge bloody hole appeared in his chest, and his heart was pulled out by Demon Saint Boyu. His entire body trembled, and he let out a miserable cry. Boom! His entire body exploded into a cloud of blood mist, which was then devoured by Demon Saint Boyu. This made Demon Saint Boyu's aura become even stronger. The first one. The flesh and blood of the human race is really delicious. Demon Saint Boyu sneered. Damn it! Killing intent flashed in Han Li's eyes. A dragon-shaped battle saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed it at Demon Saint Boyu. Rumble. Tong Yuan's divine power surged as he activated Ares College's protective array. Above the 9 heavens, streaks of lightning intertwined as a terrifying murderous aura permeated the air. The surrounding mountains trembled violently as dozens of divine light pillars shot up into the clouds, forming a mysterious enchantment that trapped Boyu the Great Devil. Demon Saint Boyu. You really don't know what's good for you. At this moment, an old voice sounded. Swoosh! Swoosh! 2 figures flew over from the void, exuding extremely powerful auras. Their hair and beards were all white, and they had the demeanor of a transcendent being. They were none other than Elder Wu Chang and Elder Tai Tai. Void Pierce Stage. Chonghe. You guys really showed up. However, you guys only have the combat power of a half-sage. Instead of hiding and waiting for death, you actually dare to show up. Demon Saint Boyu sneered, as if he was not surprised at all. He had possessed Lu Wu's body for so many years. Naturally, he knew Ares College very well. The true strength of Elder Wu Chang and Elder Tai Tai could not be hidden from him. Old bones like us naturally do not have the combat power we had in the past. However, you are only left with the body of your primordial spirit. So what if you have taken over Lu Wu's body? Ares College is not a place where you can behave atrociously. Elder Tai 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 said indifferently, and a trace of cold killing intent rose in his eyes. Rumble. Powerful and vast energy burst out from the Elder on the arena and the Elder on the martial arts platform. It was as if the laws of heaven and earth had gathered on their bodies, making their auras incomparably mysterious. Rays of holy light permeated the air, making them look holy and powerful. The two of them locked onto Demon Saint Boyu, and a terrifying killing intent burst out from them. It was as if Demon Saint Boyu made the slightest move, they would launch a thunderous attack. At this moment, the two of them were somewhat impressed by Ling Xiao. Previously, it was Ling Xiao who had discovered that something was wrong with Lu Wu and told them. That was why they had been able to appear in time. Otherwise, Ares College would have been flooded with blood. Hee, you guys still don't know when death is at hand. Fine, today I will let you die with a clear understanding. Blood demon, explode for me. Demon Saint Boyu's expression was incomparably cold, and his eyes were filled with cruel killing intent. He abruptly roared. Boom! 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 At this moment, among the people of Ares College, dozens of blood-red lights shot up into the sky. Evil and terrifying demonic light shrouded the entire sky. One by one, the disciples of Ares College suddenly exploded. Crimson blood demons emanated from their bodies, exuding a terrifying aura as they flew towards Demon Saint Boyu. At this moment, Lu Wenqing and Lu Yan's bodies exploded as well. It was as if some kind of power had awakened in their bodies, and directly swallowed their primordial spirits, transforming them into blood demons. Most importantly, it was not just the ordinary disciples who had been transformed into blood demons. Deputy Dean Lu Fang was trembling all over. Streaks of blood-red light dissipated, and his eyes were filled with horror. He suddenly shouted, "Dean, save me!" Unfortunately, no one could save him. Just as his voice fell, his entire body exploded into a bloody mist. A blood-red demonic shadow flew out, exuding a terrifying aura. Chapter 1453. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as Demon Saint Boyu stood in the air, his body emitting a monstrous demonic light. Streams of blood chi gathered from all directions, forming a vast sea of blood behind him. Hundreds of disciples and elders in Ares College exploded at the same time, turning into blood demons, whizzing towards Demon Saint Boyu. As the blood light surged over, Demon Saint Boyu's aura became even more terrifying. Demon Saint Boyu, you're courting death. The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were completely enraged, their eyes filled with murderous intent. The eyes of Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the rest were bloodshot. Their eyes were burning with rage. These were all disciples of Ares College. Who would have thought that they would be implanted with demonic seeds by Boyu Demon Sage? At this moment, all of them had become the source of power for Boyu Demon Sage. Other than the disciples of Ares College, there were 3 Divine King Realm Elders who were also affected. Their blood vessels exploded as well, and they died tragically. No one had expected Demon Saint Boyu to not only hide in Lu Wu's body, but also plant so many pawns in Ares College. Losing so many disciples and elders in such a short period of time caused Tong Yuan and the others' faces to turn even uglier. Kill him. The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder's eyes burned with murderous intent as they attacked instantly. They could feel Demon Saint Boyu's aura rising rapidly. If this continued, there would be unimaginable consequences. Rumble. The Battle Elder punched out. His fist was simple and unadorned, but it was extremely ferocious. It was like a resplendent sun exploding, containing unparalleled divine power. As the fist intent surged, it formed a vast fist Dao realm, suppressing Demon Saint Boyu. Buzz! An ancient sword appeared in Wuzong Elder's hand. The sound of the sword was crisp and clear, vibrating slightly in the void. As the sword vibrated, rings formed, as though they were the birth and destruction of worlds. They looked ethereal, but they contained an extremely pure sword intent. Holy Dao Realm. Is this the Holy Dao Realm? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He could see that whether it was the martial arts elder's field of fist or martial arts elder's field of sword, it was as if they had opened up a new world around them, erupting with extremely terrifying power. If he continued to transform like this, there would come a day when his Saint Path domain would be able to interfere with this part of the world and even dominate the operation of the laws. He would become one with the world, and his words would become law. That would be the Supreme Sage Realm. If one were to say that Supreme Tao experts were like fish in the ocean, they were familiar with the water, understood the power of water, and could even borrow the power of water to swim and possess extremely fast speed. That half-saint expert was like a divine dragon that could overturn rivers and seas. He could summon the wind and rain, and his martial arts were psychic. As for true saints, they were like emperors who controlled the entire ocean. A word from them was the law of the world. A thought from them could shock the world and destroy all living things. Seeing the Arena Elder and Wuchang Elder make their moves, Ling Xiao had a clearer understanding of the road ahead. Void Pierce Stage, Chonghe. If the two of you were still saints, I would naturally turn around and leave. However, the two of you have already fallen to the half-saint realm. I'm afraid the strength of the 5th revolution or the 6th revolution at most, right? You really don't know what death is. Devil Saint Boyu sneered. His eyes were filled with coldness. Rumble. The sea of blood behind him rose. A huge blood-red fist mark soared into the sky. Blood light surged and blood devils wailed. It was as if this part of heaven and earth had turned into the world of blood devils. The blood-red fist mark seemed to be able to confuse people's minds. It set off a monstrous blood-red light and instantly collided with the Arena Elder, dyeing the domain of the Tao of Fist red. Crack! Light exploded in the void. All the fist lights that filled the sky were devoured by the sea of blood. The expression of the Arena Elder changed slightly. His arm trembled violently and he could not help but retreat. Asterisk clang. Asterisk Devil Saint Boyu's eyes were cold and indifferent. With a flick of his finger, a beam of blood-red light pierced through the void and shot directly at the ancient sword in Wuchang Elder's hand. Instantly, the sword light became dazzling. Wuchang Elder's body trembled and the sacred sword in his hand almost flew out of his hand. Nether Blood Devil Tao. Devil Saint Boyu shouted. Immediately, endless blood-red light gushed out from his body. Rumble. It was as if a blood moon had exploded. Endless blood-red light swept down from the void and rushed towards the disciples and elders of Ares College. Not good. The expressions of the Arena Elder and Wuchang Elder changed. Holy light rose from their bodies and formed a dazzling barrier of light, blocking the blood-red light that filled the sky. Tong Yuan and Han Li both spat out mouthfuls of blood. Runes fell on the ground in all directions. Ares College's protective array had completely exploded. Asterisk roar. Asterisk roar. Roar. Dozens of dragon roars reverberated through the sky. Among the dozens of mountains surrounding Ares College, a golden divine dragon rose from each mountain. A total of 81 divine dragons gathered in the sky, forming a vast array of enchantments that protected everyone. This was the 9-dragon divine array. Its power was unparalleled. Legend had it that it could even kill a half-saint and block the attack of a saint. But Tong Yuan and Han Li still did not dare to let down their guard. The Nether Blood Devil Tao was an extremely terrifying sacred path superpower in the devil world. It was incomparably murderous and could pollute everything. Any living creature that came into contact with the Blood Devil would become a part of the Blood Devil. It was extremely terrifying. Legend had it that in ancient times, there was a Blood Devil saint who used the Nether Blood Devil Tao to refine billions of living creatures. He set off a monstrous massacre and almost became an emperor. Devil Saint Boyu had obtained the inheritance of the Nether Blood Devil Tao. That was why he had caused such a terrifying massacre 1,000,000 years ago. Rumble. Endless blood-red light gushed out. It contained an evil, terrifying, and ancient aura, causing the surrounding void to violently tremble. The Arena Elder and Martial Secret Elder's bodies shook violently as they were swept back. In the end, the boundless sea of blood collided with the 9-9 divine dragon formation. Endless symbols exploded, and cracks appeared in the sky all around. It was terrifying to the extreme. Isn't this Devil Saint Boyu only left with his primordial spirit? Even if he is attached to Lu Wu's body, how can he be so strong? Someone said, trembling. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Elder Arena and Elder Wuzong were both half-step saints. Even with the protection of the mountain, they were still unable to suppress demon Saint Bo Yu. His demonic power is unparalleled. Devil Saint Bo Yu is indeed an unparalleled demon from 1,000,000 years ago. Many of the Ares College's disciples were perturbed. Chapter 1454. This demon sage Bo Yu's battle prowess has probably reached the level of a 9th transformation half-saint. No wonder the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were unable to suppress him. He is indeed an unparalleled demon. Ling Xiao sighed softly in his heart, and his eyes lit up. The demon sage Bo Yu was only in the form of a primordial spirit. After occupying Lu Wu's body, he was able to unleash such terrifying battle prowess. One could only imagine how powerful he must have been 1,000,000 years ago. I hope the sages of the War God Temple can make it in time. Ling Xiao thought to himself. When he had told the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder about this matter, he had never thought that Lu Wu's body would be possessed by an unparalleled demon. However, the mountain protecting array of Ares College had been completely activated. Tong Yuan must have sent the news to the War God Temple and learned about the demon sage Bo Yu. A sage would definitely descend. However, he did not know if the sage would be able to make it in time. After all, Ling Xiao saw that the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were already at a disadvantage. Rumble. Boundless blood-red light soared and collided with the 9-dragon divine formation. Blood demons rushed out of the sea of blood fearlessly and collided with the golden dragons before exploding. An evil, cold, and terrifying power began to spread towards the 9 dragons' divine array. The blood sea seemed to be trying to assimilate the mountain protecting array. Break! Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the other elders were also giving it their all. They poured their divine power into the mountain protecting array and burned their blood essence at the same time, pushing the power of the 9 dragons' divine array to the maximum. Kill! The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder's eyes were filled with murderous intent as they launched terrifying attacks towards the demon sage Bo Yu. Boom! 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 The battle between the 3 of them was too terrifying. As their auras intertwined, the void and the earth trembled. Several huge mountains were instantly reduced to dust. If not for the protection of the 9 dragons' divine array, the entire Ares College would have been destroyed by the shockwaves of the battle. You overestimate yourself. Demon Saint Bo Yu's voice was incomparably cold. Every strike of his contained the boundless power of heaven and earth. The blood-red light contained the power to devour everything, causing the Arena Elder and Elder Wu Chang to be extremely fearful. Rumble. After another fierce collision, Demon Saint Bo Yu forced Elder Wu Chang and Elder Wu Chang to retreat. Then, he turned into a streak of bloody light and punched at the 9-dragon divine array. Not good. Tong Yuan's expression changed as he began to channel his divine power into the sword. The Bo Yu demon saint was giving him too much pressure. If the 9-dragon godly array had gone all out to attack the Bo Yu demon saint, he might have been able to suppress him. But now, Tong Yuan was holding back. He did not dare to release the power of the 9-dragon godly array. He had to protect all the students of Ares College. The result of passively defending was that one could only be suppressed and beaten up like a live target. Crack! The terrifying blood-red fist landed on the 9-dragon godly array, causing a blazing divine light. Runes exploded one after another, and the array seemed to have reached its limit and was beginning to collapse. No! If this continues, the 9-dragon godly array will be broken. I'm afraid that before reinforcements arrive, everyone will die. I have to think of a way. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. At this moment, Demon Saint Bo Yu was standing in an endless sea of blood. Blood demons surrounded him, constantly providing him with great power. Demon Saint Bo Yu's eyes were cold, and his face was filled with cruel killing intent. There was an extremely terrifying aura around him. It was as if he had been suppressed for millions of years, causing endless resentment to accumulate in his heart. He urgently needed to vent it through blood and slaughter. Demon Saint Bo Yu's nether blood demon path is actually activated by his physical body. If he is only left with his primordial spirit, he will not be able to activate the nether blood demon path. It seems that Lu Wu's physical body is a flaw. As long as I can destroy Lu Wu's physical body, Demon Saint Bo Yu will not be able to do much with his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Demon Saint Bo Yu had temporarily taken over Lu Wu's physical body. Naturally, there were many flaws, but it was not as if the others did not know this. Even the arena elder and Elder Wuzong could not get close to Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. Therefore, it was difficult to make a fuss about it. Lu Wu's physical body is not strong. As long as I can get close to Demon Saint Bo Yu, with the strength of my physical body and the power of the Xian Kuan sword, I should be able to take Lu Wu's physical body by surprise. At that time, even if he hastily forms a new physical body, his strength will definitely drop by a lot. A crazed look appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes as an extremely bold idea popped up in his mind. That was to kill Demon Saint Bo Yu. Although this idea seemed crazy, Ling Xiao had the heaven-shrouding secret technique. As long as he could find an opportunity, even Demon Saint Bo Yu would not be able to find him. Ling Xiao's physical body was not as strong as a Big Dipper, and even the arena elder and Elder Wuzong could not compare. The most difficult thing now was that even if Ling Xiao could take Lu Wu's physical body, how could he escape from the furious Demon Saint Bo Yu? This was probably an unsolvable answer. However, Ling Xiao still decided to give it a try. I will use the wordless heavenly book to protect my primordial spirit, the golden warrior to protect my physical body, the good fortune jade disc, and the heaven-devouring secret technique to devour the blood demon. I still have a few hundred divine talismans. If I use them well, I will have no problem keeping myself alive. Ling Xiao made up his mind in an instant. The battle elder and Elder Wuzong had been completely suppressed. The nine-dragon godly array was also in imminent danger. If this continued, once the nine-dragon godly array was broken, the disciples and elders of Ares College would become nourishment for the devil Saint Bo Yu. At that time, everyone would die in the hands of the devil Saint Bo Yu. He had to fight to the death. Rumble. At this moment, Demon Saint Bo Yu forced the arena elder and Elder Wuzong to retreat once again. Endless demonic light burst out, and a terrifying fist print covered the sky and the sun. It was like a blood-red demonic mountain, terrifying to the extreme as it slammed into the nine-dragon divine array. Kacha! A divine light exploded, and the runes shattered one after another. The huge array formation enchantment emitted a crisp sound, and a crack appeared on it. Whoosh! 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 Demon Saint Bo Yu's eyes glinted sharply. In an instant, over 100 blood fiends rushed in through the crack in the array barrier, roaring. Chapter 1455. Roar. The blood demons emitted a demonic light that filled the sky, and the smell of blood filled the air. Their faces were ferocious, and their eyes were filled with cruel and bloodthirsty killing intent. They crazily pounced on the Ares College disciples. Oh no! Kill those blood demons! Tong Yuan's expression changed drastically. He tried his best to activate the nine-dragon divine array to repair the broken cracks as he shouted. These blood demons were extremely terrifying. They had the combat power of a divine king, and they were extremely fast. In an instant, they caused great damage to the disciples. Many disciples who were below the divine king realm were devoured by the blood demons, and they were turned into dried corpses. Screams of agony filled the air, and a huge commotion broke out among the disciples. Boom! Tian Gang was the first to attack. He threw a punch, and the blood energy around him surged. His fist turned into a dazzling flash of lightning, and it shrouded the blood demons. 5 Thunder Heavenly Star Technique. Although these blood demons were evil and powerful, they were afraid of lightning, just like the other demons. Therefore, the 5 Thunder Heavenly Star Technique was the best technique to deal with them. Tian Gang's strength was already extremely strong, even stronger than an ordinary Divine King expert. Therefore, the lightning bolts that contained an incomparably strong destructive force instantly engulfed the blood devils and turned them into ashes. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox swoosh. Blazing Heavenly King Lu Zhengfeng also made his move. A crimson sky halberd appeared in his hand and slashed down. The blazing sky halberd technique exploded and a vast sea of fire erupted. It directly enveloped the two blood demons and began to refine them. Xing! Zhou Daoji's long sword shone brightly, and the sword chi spread out for 30,000 miles. It cut the two blood demons in half, and then he threw out a palm strike, and a few lightning bolts intertwined, completely destroying the blood demons. Other than the 9 great kings, the other vice principals and elders of Ares College had also made their moves. One by one, they charged towards the blood devils. However, even though their attacks were not slow, they could not match the speed of the blood devils' massacre. In just a few moments, hundreds of Ares College disciples had been devoured by the blood devil. Tong Yuan's heart ached. These were the seeds of Ares College. Every one of them was an outstanding genius. It was a pity that they had been killed by the blood demon before they could even mature. Rumble. In the end, the remaining dozen or so blood devils seemed to have devoured enough flesh and blood, and instantly rushed out of the array. Good chance. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. In an instant, a blood-red light flashed around his body, and he silently turned into a blood demon. He directly gathered towards the dozen blood demons. The heaven-shrouding secret technique was activated, and Ling Zhao became exactly like blood demon. Whether it was his appearance, his blood-colored energy, or even his spirituality, he was no different from blood demon. Just like that, Ling Zhao instantly merged with the blood demons. The blood demons didn't notice anything different about Ling Zhao. In such a chaotic situation, no one noticed Ling Zhao's little trick. Moreover, with the cover of the 9-dragon divine array, no matter how strong Demon Saint Bo Yu's spiritual sense was, he didn't notice anything strange. Rumble. At this moment, Demon Saint Bo Yu threw another punch. Another crack appeared in the 9-dragon divine array, and Ling Zhao and the other blood demons were drawn out. At the same time, more blood demons rushed in from the outside. Damn it! The elder on the arena and Elder Wuzong were completely enraged. Their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. At the same time, they unleashed their terrifying Saint Path realms and joined forces to attack Demon Saint Bo Yu. Every attack seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth. It's useless. All of you will be my food. Demon Saint Bo Yu sneered. 2 blood-colored fist prints blasted out. Like a blood-colored divine light, they pierced through the 9 heavens and forced the elder on the arena and Elder Wuzong to retreat. The dozen or so blood demons were like dragons entering the sea, and they all gathered towards Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. The blood demon that Ling Zhao had transformed into was the last one. He could feel that the dozen or so blood demons contained extremely pure blood qi. After they merged into Demon Saint Bo Yu's body, Demon Saint Bo Yu's aura became even stronger. Demon Saint Bo Yu suddenly had a bad feeling. It was as if some unknown danger was approaching. He instantly became extremely alert. At this moment, the other dozen or so blood demons had already been devoured by Demon Saint Bo Yu. The blood demon that Ling Zhao had transformed into had also arrived beside Demon Saint Bo Yu. Now's the time. Ling Zhao's eyes shone brightly. The Xian Kun sword shone with boundless divine light and instantly appeared in the void. It was infused with Ling Zhao's terrifying divine power as it stabbed towards Demon Saint Bo Yu. Ling Zhao's speed was too fast. For this sword, he even used the power of time, which made the sword almost surpass the limits of space and time. With a flash of sword light, he had already stabbed into Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. This was also the reason why Demon Sage Bo Yu didn't suspect him at all. After all, the dozen or so blood demons were split from Demon Sage Bo Yu's body. Although he sensed danger, he was also vigilant in other places. Therefore, Demon Saint Bo Yu did not expect Ling Zhao to turn into a blood demon and appear beside him in such a way. Furthermore, Ling Zhao had launched a fatal attack on him. Boom! The Xian Kun sword was originally a flawless sacred treasure left behind by Saint Xuanwu. It contained extremely terrifying divine power. At this moment, it was completely activated by Ling Xiao. The terrifying sword qi directly exploded within Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. Speaking of which, this was only Lu Wu's physical body. Even if it was temporarily strengthened by Demon Saint Bo Yu, it was still extremely weak. Under the full power of the Xian Kun sword, Lu Wu's physical body suddenly exploded. Rumble. However, this was only the beginning. In order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, Ling Xiao also detonated the hundreds of divine talismans he had prepared beforehand. It was as if hundreds of heavenly gods and divine kings had self-detonated. The terrifying divine light intertwined with each other and caused a qualitative change. In an instant, a terrifying divine light storm was set off. Lu Wu's physical body was cut into pieces by the Xian Kun sword and then swept away by the power of the hundreds of divine talismans, instantly turning into nothingness. Even if Demon Saint Bo Yu wanted to repair it, it was impossible. Retreat. Ling Xiao did not have the slightest hint of joy. On the contrary, he felt a great sense of danger descending upon him, causing his hair to stand on end. Chapter 1456. Demon Saint Bo Yu had been too careless. If Demon Saint Bo Yu had diverted his attention to the blood demon, Ling Xiao would not have been able to kill him so easily. Demon Saint Bo Yu naturally trusted the blood demon he had created, but ultimately, it was because the heaven-shrouding secret technique was too mysterious. The heaven-shrouding secret skill had concealed Ling Xiao's aura, bloodline, and even primordial spirit, making him look exactly like the blood demon. He had even deceived Demon Saint Bo Yu's perception. It should be known that if the heaven-shrouding secret skill was cultivated to the great completion realm, it could even deceive the perception of a sage. Although Ling Xiao had just learned the skill, it was still easy for him to deceive the perception of a sage to be. Therefore, when all these factors were added together, Devil Sage Bo Yu was in for a tragedy. Lu Wu's body was the foundation of his nether blood demon way. Without Lu Wu's body, even if he could condense another body in a short time, his strength would be greatly reduced. Therefore, it could be said that Demon Saint Bo Yu hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Everyone was stunned. Am I seeing things? That guy is Long Outyan. He actually destroyed Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling uncontrollably. That's right. It's Long Outyan. He's really audacious. Fortunately, we have him. If not for him, I'm afraid all of us would have died in the hands of Demon Saint Bo Yu. A disciple from Ares College said with a complicated look. Long Outyan is too fierce. He's even more powerful than senior brother. I've already decided that from now on, I'll submit to no one but Long Outyan. But don't forget, he destroyed Demon Saint Bo Yu's body. Can he really escape? Everyone began to worry. No matter how talented Ling Xiao was, his cultivation was only at the complete divine realm. Demon Saint Bo Yu was a true sage expert. Even if he was only left with his primordial spirit, he still had the battle strength of a sage to be. Even a divine king expert would die without a doubt, let alone Ling Xiao. Although everyone was grateful to Ling Xiao, they all felt that Ling Xiao was doomed. Long Outyan, you deserve to die. Demon Saint Bo Yu bellowed. His figure appeared in the void. It was a somewhat demonic figure of a young man, but his face was filled with incomparably twisted and frenzied killing intent. Rumble. The sky trembled as a vast nomological force pressed down from all directions. Ling Xiao originally wanted to escape, but he was instantly fixed in the void by that vast nomological force. Demon Saint Bo Yu's eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Although he was only left with his soul, the power of a demon saint could not be described by common sense. Two cold rays of light shot out from his eyes, instantly piercing towards Ling Xiao's forehead. Since you've destroyed my physical body, I'll use your physical body to make up for it. A cold voice sounded. The two beams of divine light contained the vast power of Bo Yu's primordial spirit. They wanted to wipe out Ling Xiao's primordial spirit and take over his body. It had to be said that Demon Saint Bo Yu was extremely decisive. If he had really taken over Ling Xiao's body, with Ling Xiao's terrifying physical strength, the Nether Blood Devil's way would have been much more terrifying than Lu Wu's body. Buzz! At this moment, Ling Xiao's forehead glowed, and a golden vortex spread out. Before the two beams of light shot out by Bo Yu could enter Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, they were swallowed up by the golden vortex in an instant. What? Demon Saint Bo Yu trembled all over, his eyes revealing a trace of disbelief. That was his soul attack, a saint's soul attack. Let alone a puny divine realm expert, even a half-saint expert would die from it. He did not expect that Ling Xiao not only blocked it, but also swallowed his soul attack. Who the hell is this guy? It's too strange. Demon Saint Bo Yu, you're courting death. The elder on the arena and Elder Wu Chang roared crazily. The blood in their bodies even began to burn. An incomparably terrifying wave of energy erupted as they charged at Demon Saint Bo Yu without any regard for their lives. The terrifying fist mark shook the void as the saint's sword swept across tens of thousands of miles in the sky. Their attacks caused Demon Saint Bo Yu's expression to change. Crazy. Both of you are crazy. Void Pierce stage experts, Chong He, you actually burned your Saint Dao origin for an ant? Demon Saint Bo Yu said in disbelief. He did not expect that the Void Pierce stage experts and Chong He would burn their Saint Dao origin for Long Outyan. One should know that both of them had fallen to the half-saint realm because their Saint Dao origin was damaged. Now that they were burning their Saint Dao origin, their cultivation bases would probably fall even faster. But how would Demon Saint Bo Yu know that? In their hearts, Ling Xiao was incomparably important. He was even more important than their lives. Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of War God's Scarlet Dragon. In their hearts, Ling Xiao was the hope of the War God Temple. He was the hope of the entire War God Temple. Anyone could die except for Ling Xiao. Not to mention burning their Saint Dao origin, even if they were asked to die, they would probably not even frown. Damn it! Since you think so highly of him, I will kill him. Die! Demon Saint Bo Yu said in exasperation. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Rumble. He gave up on occupying Ling Xiao's body and threw out a punch. A terrifying fist seal that carried the momentum of heaven and earth violently landed on Ling Xiao's chest. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with bitterness. In the face of such a vast amount of Saint Dao power, he did not even have the slightest strength to resist. All he could do was take the blow head-on. Rumble. A dazzling light burst out from Ling Xiao's chest. It was as if countless ancient runes were blooming and spinning rapidly. They were annihilated by Demon Saint Bo Yu's punch. However, they had also neutralized 90% of Demon Saint Bo Yu's power. Ling Xiao's chest caved in instantly. His entire body was sent flying while blood spurted out from his mouth. Demon Saint Bo Yu frowned. He could feel that there was a layer of extremely powerful defensive treasure on Ling Xiao's body, which caused his punch to be greatly obstructed. Most of the power of his punch was neutralized. Bo Yu, you're courting death. Go to hell. Seeing this scene, the eyes of the elder on the arena and the elder of Wuchang turned red. Both of them roared madly. Rumble. The chi around their bodies became more and more terrifying. Endless saint aura gushed out like two divine suns that were slowly rising. They unleashed immeasurable divine might and charged towards Demon Saint Bo Yu in a frenzy. Chapter 1457. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body crashed into a mountain in the distance, causing the mountain to explode. Ling Xiao spat out blood, and his internal organs were almost completely shattered. Cracks appeared all over his body, as if he was about to break apart. That punch from Demon Saint Bo Yu was too terrifying. Ling Xiao had already put on the Golden Warrior armor and even the Good Fortune Jade disc in his chest. At the same time, he used the sky-devouring secret technique to devour all the foreign energy that invaded his body. With such a terrifying defense, even a normal half-saint would not be able to hurt Ling Xiao. However, that punch from Demon Saint Bo Yu made Ling Xiao feel the threat of death. Even though he had made so many preparations, he was still seriously injured by Demon Saint Bo, and his body was almost destroyed. This was the most serious injury he had suffered since he entered the divine realm. Cough, cough, Ling Xiao coughed out blood. Although his face was pale, his eyes were extremely bright. He had succeeded, and he had won the gamble. Not only had he destroyed Demon Saint Boyu's body, but he had also escaped from Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack. This was undoubtedly a miracle. If it had been someone else, not to mention a divine king, even a half-saint would have been killed by Demon Saint Boyu's punch. Ling Xiao felt that it was worth it to trade his injuries for Demon Saint Boyu's strength. Whoosh! Ling Xiao struggled to fly out of the shattered mountain range. What? Seeing Ling Xiao's figure appear, everyone was stunned. He survived Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack. How is this possible? A disciple from Aries College stuttered, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. This was a little too dreamy. Demon Saint Boyu had imprisoned Ling Xiao with his Saint Path realm, so Ling Xiao could not resist at all. He could only endure Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack. Many disciples from Aries College had thought that Ling Xiao was dead for sure, and before they had time to feel sad, this guy had come out alive. Although Ling Xiao was severely injured, coughing out blood, and looking pale, he had indeed survived. Tong Yuan shuddered and reacted instantly. He immediately opened the 9-dragon divine array and let Ling Xiao in. Then, he protected Ling Xiao even more tightly. Long Out Yen, are you alright? This time, you have made a great contribution. The fact that Aries College is safe is all thanks to you. Tong Yuan said with great concern. His eyes were full of gratitude. He knew that if Ling Xiao had not taken the risk, the 9-dragon divine array would have been broken by the Boyu demon sage. At that time, everyone would have become food for the Boyu demon sage, and the entire Aries College would have been destroyed. I'm fine. Principal, Demon Saint Boyu has lost his mortal body, and his prowess has been greatly reduced. He can no longer cast the Nether Blood Demon Dao. You can activate the 9-dragon godly array formation and imprison him. Then, you can kill him once and for all. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted sharply as he looked at Demon Saint Boyu in the distance. Good. We've been on the defensive all this time. This time, we must make sure he stays here forever. Tong Yuan's eyes glinted coldly. Without the Nether Blood Demon Dao, Tong Yuan did not have to divert his attention to protect the disciples of Aries College. Instead, he could directly activate the 9-dragon godly array formation and attack Demon Saint Boyu. Rumble. The Battle Elder and Elder Wuzong burned their Sage Dao origins and unleashed a shocking attack that destroyed the Blood Sea in the sky. Even Demon Saint Boyu was affected by this attack and suffered some injuries. What? It was at this moment that Demon Saint Boyu realized that Ling Xiao was still alive. He was shocked. Ha ha ha. I knew it. Ling. Long Out Yen would not die in your hands so easily. Demon Saint Boyu, prepare to die. Seeing that Ling Xiao was still alive, the Battle Elder was slightly relieved and laughed heartily. Rumble. The Battle Elder slammed his palm across the sky, and streaks of holy light filled the air. Suddenly, streaks of lightning fell from the sky like a mountain, emitting a brilliant purple light. It was majestic and mysterious. Purple Firmament World Devastating Thunder Dao. Demon Saint Boyu's expression changed, and his eyes revealed a trace of fear. If he still had his physical body, he might not be afraid. But now, he was only left with his primordial spirit body. The Purple Firmament World Devastating Thunder Dao was one of the 9 supreme martial arts of Ares Shrine. It could summon the Purple Firmament Heavenly Thunder and World Devastating Heavenly Thunder. Its power was extremely terrifying, and it was the perfect counter to the primordial spirit body. Swoosh! Swoosh! Demon Saint Boyu's speed was extremely fast, and he kept dodging the streaks of lightning in the void. At the same time, he had a thought of retreating. That Long Out Yen must have a big secret. I must capture him and interrogate him for all his secrets. Demon Saint Bo Yu thought to himself as he looked at Ling Shao deeply. A kid in the complete celestial god realm was too strange. Even Demon Saint Bo Yu had to treat him seriously. He had already decided that after he left this place, he must find a way to capture Long Outyen. Demon Saint Bo Yu already had the thought of retreating. Now that he was only left with his primordial spirit body, if Demon Saint Bo Yu did not leave, he might be forced to stay by Elder Wuzong and Elder Arena. After all, Lu Wu was already dead. A dead man had no value, so there was no point in staying here. Elder Wuzong seemed to have seen through Demon Saint Bo Yu's intention to escape. Suddenly, the ancient sword in his hand became fierce and fierce. Streaks of flame divine light swept across the sky, forming a vast fire barrier, blocking Demon Saint Bo Yu's way. Sky burning sacred technique. Demon Saint Bo Yu's expression changed again. Whether it was the purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao or the sky burning sacred technique, they were extremely effective against his primordial spirit body. Moreover, both of them had burned their saint path origin, and their strength was extremely terrifying. They were about to suppress him. Rumble. At this moment, divine light vibrated in the void, and dazzling runes appeared. Streaks of golden divine dragons soared into the sky, surging in the sea of clouds. 81 divine dragons intertwined with each other to form a vast and terrifying killing array, sealing off this part of the world. Those golden divine dragons were majestic and mysterious. They were formed from the Earth's dragon veins, and had been refined by the experts of Ares College for generations. They had formed dragon chi that was similar to magic treasures. They were extremely powerful, comparable to ordinary half-saints. 81 golden divine dragons were equivalent to 81 half-saints. Without the restriction of the Nether Blood Devil path, the terrifying attack power of the 9 dragon divine array erupted. Demon Saint Bo Yu's expression changed instantly. Whether it was the purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao, the sky burning sacred technique, or the 9 dragon divine array, they all gave him a bad feeling. Chapter 1458. Rumble. Lightning spurted out, flames burned the sky, and incomparably terrifying power intertwined in the void. Then, it turned into a divine light storm and suddenly erupted. Demon Saint Bo Yu's eyes turned serious, and a mysterious aura emanated from his body. The void suddenly shattered, and his figure suddenly escaped into the turbulence of the void, dodging the earth-shattering blow. Although Demon Saint Bo Yu was in the realm of a saint, he still flinched in the face of 2 half-saints and the 9 dragon divine formation. Asterisk swoosh. 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 Asterisk however, the power of the 9 dragon divine formation was completely unleashed. Streaks of scorching divine light swept across the void and turned into mysterious divine chains of order. They pierced through the void and coiled around Devil Saint Bo Yu's primordial spirit. Long Outyen, remember this. Your life is mine. Devil Saint Bo Yu gave Ling Shao a deep look. Then, his body shrouded in divine light and instantly tore apart the void, creating a crack in the 9 dragon divine formation. After that, he quickly fled into the distance. With only his primordial spirit left, he would not gain any benefits even if he continued to stay here. Therefore, Devil Saint Bo Yu had decided to flee. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of Chonghe. He shouted, Devil Saint Bo Yu, where do you think you are going? Boom! Purple lightning flashed across the void while flames rose and spread into the distance. The void pierced stage expert and Chonghe, one of them was enveloped in purple lightning while the other was enveloped in a sea of flames. They chased after Devil Sage Bo Yu at an extremely fast speed. As expected of Devil Saint Bo Yu. Even though he is only left with his primordial spirit, no one can stop him. Ling Shao said with a sigh. Although the 9 dragon divine formation was extremely terrifying, it still could not stop Devil Saint Bo Yu. Ling Shao thought that Devil Saint Bo Yu might really escape. However, Ling Shao felt somewhat displeased that he had gained such a powerful enemy out of nowhere. As the saying went, one could be a thief for 1,000 days. How could one guard against a thief for 1,000 days? If Devil Saint Bo Yu targeted him, Ling Xiao would have to be extremely careful. Chong-he, I want to leave. None of you can stop me. Demon Saint Bo Yu sneered and struck out with his palm. A black demon light turned into a giant wall that connected heaven and earth, blocking the two of them in an instant. Demon Saint Bo Yu turned into a blazing stream of light and was about to disappear into the void. Rumble. But at this moment, a loud rumble exploded in the sky. A huge scorching sun furnace appeared there. It was like a resplendent sun, exuding an ancient and terrifying aura. Endless flames poured down from it. Furthermore, an incomparably terrifying devouring force enveloped the entire area and locked onto Demon Saint Bo Yu, intending to devour him into the blazing sun furnace. Above the blazing sun furnace, a figure in red robes vaguely appeared. His aura was torrential and enveloped the entire sky. The scorching sun furnace of the War God Temple. Damn it! Demon Saint Bo Yu's expression changed abruptly. His eyes were filled with exasperation. He did not expect the people of the War God Temple to arrive so quickly and even bring the supreme treasure, the scorching sun furnace. The flames in the scorching sun furnace were the sacred sun fire. Even a saint could be forcibly refined by it. It was extremely terrifying. Demon Saint Bo Yu felt his scalp tingle. He did not dare to touch it at all. Whoosh! Demon Saint Bo Yu's gaze turned solemn. There seemed to be mysterious flames rising from his body, making his aura even more terrifying. He suddenly spat out a black fireball from his mouth. It contained an aura that could make one's primordial spirit tremble and flew toward the scorching sun furnace. Rumble. Before the black fireball could reach the scorching sun oven, it instantly exploded. Endless flames rose and fell from the 9 heavens as if it was going to destroy the world. Demon Saint Bo Yu also borrowed the power of this terrifying energy to break free from the scorching sun furnace's shackles and flee in the direction of the furnace. Demon Saint Bo Yu, where do you think you're going? A cold and indifferent voice sounded, accompanied by streaks of purple lightning that exploded in the void. Rumble. It was an ancient purple ruler that fell from the sky. It traversed hundreds of millions of miles across the void, emitting endless blazing lightning. It was extremely terrifying. An old man in black armor with a dignified face bathed in lightning. His aura was so terrifying that it made the void around him tremble violently. He looked at Demon Saint Bo Yu with eyes full of murderous intent. Purple firmament ruler? Demon Saint Bo Yu exclaimed. There was even a hint of despair in his eyes. There was a supreme treasure. The purple firmament ruler was the supreme treasure of the Thunder Hall of the War God Temple. It contained the origin of lightning and was extremely terrifying. It seemed that Lei Qianjue had deliberately activated this ruler. It contained an extremely terrifying power that made Demon Saint Bo Yu's scalp tingle. Heavenly demon disintegration, Maha immeasurable, I sacrifice my broken body to the heavens. Explode! 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 Demon Saint Bo Yu's eyes suddenly turned crazy. His face was filled with murderous intent as he roared madly. Rumble! His primordial spirit instantly swelled up. Endless black light overflowed from it, containing evil, dark and ancient waves. The moment the purple firmament ruler fell, it directly exploded. Terrifying divine light instantly tore the sky apart. Streams of void turbulence spread out. Chaotic mist rose, and the sky trembled violently. The terrifying tremor directly annihilated the lightning that filled the sky. Demon Saint Bo Yu's figure completely disappeared before everyone's eyes. Heavenly demon sacrificial saint technique? He still got away. The purple firmament ruler turned into a stream of light and fell into the hands of the old man in black armor. His face was a little pale. He had been accumulating power for a long time for this attack. He wanted to kill Demon Saint Bo Yu with one blow, but he did not expect that he would still let him escape. Of course, Demon Saint Bo Yu must have been severely injured when he used the Heavenly Demon Sacrificial Saint technique. There was no way he could recover to his peak in a short time. Lei Qianjue. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He immediately recognized the old man with the purple firmament ruler. He was the deputy hall master of the Thunder Hall, Lei Qianjue. The purple firmament ruler was the supreme treasure of the Thunder Hall, and the scorching sun furnace was the supreme treasure of the Fire Hall. Ling Xiao did not expect that they would bring these two supreme treasures to kill demon Saint Bo Yu. These two supreme treasures were supreme holy treasures. They were not something that ordinary holy treasures could compare to. I'm afraid that these two have already arrived. They waited until now to make a move. Could it be that they want to kill with a borrowed knife? Chapter 1459. Ling Xiao could tell that the power of the scorching sun furnace and the purple firmament ruler was not a hasty attack. Instead, it was something that Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man had planned for a long time. They used the scorching sun furnace to attract all of Devil Saint Bo Yu's attention and forced him to run towards Lei Qianjue. Then, they used the purple firmament ruler to launch a fatal attack. They wanted to kill Devil Saint Bo Yu once and for all. This meant that the two of them had arrived a long time ago and were hiding in the void. However, they didn't do anything even though they arrived early. Instead, they just watched Devil Saint Bo Yu wreak havoc in Aries College. They only stopped him when he tried to escape. This point was incomparably thought-provoking. The first thought that came to Ling Xiao's mind was that Lei Qianjue wanted to use Devil Saint Bo Yu to get rid of Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe. After all, for the past 1,000,000 years, the Thunder Hall and the Battle Hall were like fire and water. They were almost at the point of life and death. Ling Xiao had every reason to believe that Lei Qianjue wanted to use Devil Saint Bo Yu to get rid of the people of the Battle Hall. Senior brothers, I'm afraid that the two of them have arrived a long time ago. They waited until now to make a move. Their intentions are very sinister. You must be careful. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe. The two of them also felt a little strange. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, their hearts trembled and their eyes turned cold. They were actually set up by their fellow disciples. This was something that they could not tolerate no matter what. Swoosh! Swoosh! Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man arrived in the sky above Aries College in an instant. Their auras were powerful and mysterious. Their faces were incomparably dignified. Thank you for your help. Otherwise, Aries College would have been in great danger today. Tong Yuan's eyes were filled with excitement and surprise. He bowed to Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man together with Han Li and the others. Many of the Aries College's disciples looked as though they had just survived a calamity. After all, Demon Saint Bo Yu had wreaked havoc this time, directly destroying the generational competition and even killing a large number of disciples. It was a bloody massacre. Junior brothers, there's no need to be so polite. We are all disciples of the same sect. It's only natural for us to help each other. Aries College is a part of the War God Palace. Of course, the sect will not give up on everyone. The red-robed old man was Lai Yuan, the vice master of the Fire Palace. His hair and beard, he had a kind face, which made people have a good impression of him. Tong Yuan recounted how Demon Sage Bo Yu had possessed Lu Wu's body, how he had fought with Ling Xiao in a life-and-death battle, and how the Nether Blood Demon Dao had wreaked havoc on Aries College. Of course, Tong Yuan also told him about how Ling Xiao had risked his life to destroy Lu Wu's physical body, and how he had defeated Devil Saint Bo Yu's spirit. Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe brought Ling Xiao along to welcome them. However, their faces were incomparably cold. It couldn't be helped. The Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe were both figures from 1,000,000 years ago. Although their cultivation base had fallen to the half-sage realm due to their injuries, they were still the old ancestors of the War God Temple for half of their lives. Even the War God Supreme of the War God Temple had to address them as martial uncle when he saw them. Lei Qianjue, Lai Yuan, I don't have such good martial nephews like you two. You two should have arrived a long time ago, right? Why did you wait until Devil Saint Bo Yu tried to escape before you made a move? The Void Pierce Stage was the most hot-tempered one. He questioned Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan directly. As soon as the Void Pierce Stage's voice fell, Tong Yuan, Han, and the other disciples of Aries College changed their expressions. If Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan had arrived a long time ago, it would be hard for them to accept the fact that Devil Saint Boyu massacred the disciples of Aries College. Many of them even showed angry expressions. It was especially so for Tong Yuan, Han, and the others. They were not stupid. After thinking about it carefully, they naturally realized that something was amiss. Seeing the expressions of the people of Aries College change, Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's faces also became extremely unsightly. Uncle Master Chong Su, although you are our senior, you can't accuse us for no reason, right? The sect is hundreds of millions of li asterisk, 500 m per li, away from here. We rushed here with all our might and just happened to see Devil Saint Boyu trying to escape. That's why we made a move to stop him. Uncle Master Chong Su, please don't accuse us unjustly. Lai Yuan said with a wry smile. Lei Qianjue sneered and said, Uncle Master Chong Su, you can eat whatever you want but you can't say whatever you want. Although you are our senior, if you accuse us without any evidence, we will explain it to our sect master and ask him to uphold justice for us. Chong Su was so angry that he laughed and said, whether you have arrived a long time ago or not, you know very well in your hearts. You were able to set up such a deadly trap and almost killed Devil Saint Boyu. If you say that you have not been hiding there in advance, do you think that we are fools or that Devil Saint Boyu is a fool? Chong He's expression was also very cold. He frowned but still did not say anything. Although they knew that Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan must have arrived a long time ago, they did not have any evidence at all. Ling Xiao also did not say anything. He just looked at Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan coldly. That is just a coincidence. We came all the way from the sect to rescue him. If Uncle Master Chong Su thinks of us in such a way, then we are really disappointed. Lai Yuan said with a wry smile. Anyway, there was no evidence at all. As long as they refused to admit it, even if others suspected them, there was nothing they could do about it. Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan hated Chong Su and Chong He so much that their teeth itched. These two old men dared to expose them in public and put them in an awkward position. It would definitely cause a lot of negative effects in Aries College. After all, Chong He and Chong Su's prestige was much higher than theirs. Lei Qianjue's eyes were cold. Suddenly, he looked at Ling Xiao with a strange expression and said, You are Long Outyan? I heard that you destroyed the body of Demon Saint Boyu. How did you do it when even the two uncle masters could not do it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He did not expect Lei Qianjue to change the topic and target him. He could not help but say calmly, when Demon Saint Boyu and the two elders were fighting, they did not notice me. Coincidentally, I know a kind of qi concealing technique and turned into a blood demon. When I got close to Demon Saint Boyu, I gave him a fatal blow and luckily destroyed his body. Qi concealing technique? I have never heard of any kind of qi concealing technique that can allow a heavenly god to hide from the senses of a saint. You make it sound so easy. Long Outyan, I advise you to tell us the truth. Are you also a spy of the demon race? Destroying Demon Saint Boyu's body was just a show for everyone to see. Lei Qianjue's eyes turned cold as he suddenly shouted. His voice was like thunder. It contained a mysterious sound wave that spread toward Ling Xiao. It was as if it could shake one's mind. His words caused everyone's expression to change. Chapter 1460. Boom! A powerful sound wave exploded in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. However, before it could enter Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, it was neutralized by the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly turned incomparably cold. Lei Qianjue's cultivation base was extremely strong. Just like Lai Yuan, he was at the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm. He was only one step away from attaining the Tao and becoming a saint. His true strength was slightly stronger than the Void Pierce stage experts and Chong He. If it were any other ordinary disciple, they would have been influenced by Lei Qianjue's words and followed his instructions right away. A spy of the devil race? Ha ha ha. Lei Qianjue, are you out of your mind? If I'm a spy of the devil race, why would I help the Ares Academy destroy Devil Saint Boyu's body? If I'm a spy of the devil race, why wouldn't I want Devil Saint Boyu to kill all of you? What's in it for me? Even if you want to frame me, please think of a better reason. Don't assume that everyone is as stupid as you. Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed. His eyes were clear as he stared at Lei Qianjue. Lei Qianjue, you are the Vice Lord of the Thunder Palace. How dare you use such a despicable method on a disciple? Do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because my cultivation base has declined? A void-pierced stage expert also bellowed. His eyes revealed a hint of anger. Chong Su could tell that Lei Qianjue had used a nascent soul attack on Ling Xiao. Fortunately, Ling Xiao wasn't hit by the attack. However, Chong Su was still enraged. The people of the Thunder Palace were still as arrogant as ever. They were so arrogant 1,000,000 years ago and 1,000,000 years later. Everyone was stunned, especially the disciples of the Ares Academy. They all looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Lei Qianjue was the Vice Lord of the Thunder Palace. He was a powerful figure who was at the peak of the half-saint realm. He only needed one more step to become a saint of the War God Temple. Everyone was impressed by Ling Xiao's boldness in calling Lei Qianjue by his full name without any hesitation. Even though no one dared to say anything, they were still pissed off at Lei Qianjue. Ling Xiao had saved the entire Ares College and was their savior. No one believed Lei Qianjue's accusation that Ling Xiao was a spy for the demons. A cold light flashed across Lei Qianjue's eyes, but he quickly regained his composure and said, "Uncle Master Chongxiu, you have misunderstood me. I just want to find out the truth. After all, Long Outyen is only a heavenly god. It is unbelievable that he could destroy Lu Wu's body." "Chong," he said coldly, "Lei Qianjue, everyone has their own opportunity and their own secrets. The faction will not rob our disciples of their resources. All we need to do is to make sure that Long Outyen is not a spy from the demons. That's all we need to do. If you do this, many disciples will be bitterly disappointed in the sect." Lai Yuan laughed and said, "Uncle Masters, it is easy to prove that Long Outyen is not a spy from the demons. All we need to do is ask him to swear the Great Oath of the Heart, and everything will be clear." Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he looked at Lai Yuan. He knew that the Thunder Temple and the Battle Temple were like fire and water, and the Fire Temple and the Thunder Temple were in the same boat. Therefore, even though Lai Yuan was trying to persuade Lei Qianjue, he was actually helping Lei Qianjue. Ling Xiao sneered and said, "Lei Qianjue, I can swear the Great Oath of the Heart that I am not a spy from the demons. But do you dare to swear the Great Oath of the Heart? Do you dare to swear that you didn't come here earlier and watch Devil Saint Boyu attack us without doing anything?" Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's faces darkened. They did not dare to swear the Great Oath of the Heart. The reason why Lei Qianjue had attacked Ling Xiao was that he did not like Ling Xiao. Another reason was that he wanted to divert everyone's attention. However, he did not expect that Ling Xiao would draw his attention back. Pierce Void also said coldly, "Lei Qianjue, I can swear that Long Outyen is not a spy from the demons. However, if you don't believe me, then let Ling Xiao swear the Great Oath of the Heart. But to be fair, you can swear the Great Oath of the Heart with him." Both Chong He and Chong Su stood firmly behind Ling Xiao. Although their cultivation base had deteriorated, they were still the senior uncles of Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan. With the two of them around, even if Lei Qianjue was furious with Ling Xiao, he could not do anything. Lei Qianjue's face changed slightly. He said coldly, "You don't have to swear the Great Oath of the Heart. Since the two of you are willing to swear the Great Oath of the Heart, then I will also believe that Long Outyen is not a spy from the demons. Now that this matter is settled, there are still many things that need to be done in the faction. I will not stay here any longer. Farewell, martial uncles." A murderous intent flashed in Lei Qianjue's eyes. He stared at Ling Xiao for a while and turned around to leave without saying goodbye to Tong Yuan and the others. "Martial uncles, junior martial brothers, farewell." Lai Yuan smiled bitterly. He cupped his fists and bowed to the crowd. Then, he chased after Lei Qianjue. That bastard! He must be trying to get Demon Saint Bo Yu to kill us. Someone shouted angrily. Seeing Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan running away in a hurry without saying a word about the Great Oath of the Heart, everyone knew what was going on. Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan had been here for a long time, but they did not do anything. In just a blink of an eye, Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's image in everyone's mind was ruined. Many of the disciples of War God Temple were enraged. Tong Yuan and Han Li's face darkened. No matter what Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's reason, they could not forgive them for what they had done. Humph. I will report this to the sect leader. I think Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan are the true spies. Elder Han Li said with a cold look in his eyes. He was very hot-tempered. However, his words caused Tong Yuan and the others' faces to change. Tong Yuan quickly said, Junior Marshal Brother Han, please keep quiet. You can't talk about this carelessly. Be careful of what you say. After all, Lei Qianjue held a high position in the sect and was rumored to be the next leader of the Thunder Temple. Although Tong Yuan and Han Li were elders of Aries College, they did not hold a high position in the sect. They might even be lower than the ordinary elders. Chong He and Chong Su looked at Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan with deep eyes. Then, a sharp light flashed in their eyes. The generational tournament was supposed to be a good one. However, because of Demon Saint Bo Yu, the entire Aries College was almost destroyed. However, Ling Xiao had stepped in at the most critical moment and saved the entire Aries College. His reputation had reached a new peak, even surpassing that of Big Brother Tiangang. After that, Tong Yuan and Han Li were not in the mood to announce the results of the generational tournament. After handing out the rewards hastily, they began to clean up the battlefield. Chapter 1461. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, left together with Chong He and Chong Su. Inside a palace, Chong Su stretched out his hand and waved it. Immediately, he set up an isolation formation that enveloped the entire palace. Young master, you've offended Lei Qianjue today. I'm afraid he won't let you off so easily. You have to be careful in the future. The Chong Su's eyes showed a hint of worry. That's right. Lei Qianjue is the Vice Hall Master of the Thunder Hall. He's a vengeful man. His father is a Grand Elder. I'm afraid he'll make things difficult for you after you enter the War God Hall. Chong He said slowly. Senior brothers, he's already bullying us. Can't we fight back? So what if he's Lei Qianjue? Give me enough time, and I'll slaughter him like a dog. Ling Xiao sneered as a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. He was furious. He didn't have any enmity with Lei Qianjue, but because he rejected Lei Qianjue's offer to take him as a disciple, Lei Qianjue started to find fault with him. First, Lei Qianjue cancelled his opportunity to receive the cyclic sky seal's projection. This time, Lei Qianjue deliberately targeted him. When dealing with a vengeful person like Lei Qianjue, one could either stay away from him or be even more ruthless and kill him. Ling Xiao was not a coward. As long as he had the strength, he would definitely kill Lei Qianjue. Young master, you're right. What we need most now is time. After all, you're still too young. However, in the upcoming 100 Academy tournament, you must strive to enter the top 3. The top 3 should have a chance to become a true disciple of the War God Hall. As long as you become a true disciple, even Lei Qianjue, the Vice Hall Master, won't dare to do anything to you. Chong Su sighed softly. Senior brothers, don't worry. I'll definitely be the champion of the 100 Academy tournament this time. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said confidently. Chong He and Chong Su looked at each other and nodded slowly. Through this generational tournament, they could see Ling Xiao's true strength. He indeed had a chance to become the champion. Young master, the Academy tournament this time should be led by Tong Yuan or Han Li. You should also be careful of Demon Sage Bo Yu. Although he's heavily injured, he definitely hates you to the core. Let's go to the faction and contact our old friends. We'll tell the god of war what happened here. We can't let Lei Qianjue sow discord between us. Chonghe said to Ling Xiao. Senior brothers, your divine path foundations have been damaged. Is there no way to recover them? How can I completely heal your injuries? Ling Xiao looked at Chong Su and Chong He and asked. Both of them were extremely talented as well. It was only because their saintly path foundations were damaged that their cultivation declined and they were unable to recover their previous cultivation. If the injuries of Void Pierce stage experts and Chong He could be fully recovered and they would possess the power of the sacred Tao, Ling Xiao would have two great helpers in the War God Temple. It's difficult. However, even the saint ruler ancestor of our War God Hall was unable to do anything. If you want to repair the foundation of the sage path, only the legendary Supreme Great Emperor can do it. Chong Su said with a bitter smile. Supreme Great Emperor? I'm afraid there aren't any great emperors in the entire divine world now. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't be cowering in the divine world and be suppressed by the devil race. Ling Xiao said with a sigh. Ever since the disappearance of the 9 great emperors of the human race, there hadn't been a single great emperor in the human race. If it weren't for the barrier of the divine world would have been conquered by the experts of other worlds. There's another way. However, I'm afraid it's even more difficult than the Supreme Great Emperor. Chong He hesitated for a moment and shook his head. What is it? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. As long as there was a way, he would give it a try no matter what. Unless we can find the legendary Saint Heart Grass and purify our saintly path origin. However, we haven't heard of the Saint Heart Grass for so many years. I'm afraid it has long been lost in the divine world. Chong He said with a bitter smile. Saint Heart Grass. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had naturally heard of the Saint Heart Grass before. It was a supreme treasure from ancient times that contained the saintly path origin energy. It could allow one to be reborn and purify their saintly path origin energy. It was an essential treasure to prove one's Tao and become a saint in ancient times. However, the Saint Heart Grass had long been lost in the divine world. Even if it existed in the other greater 1,000 realms, it was extremely rare. This was also one of the reasons why proving one's Tao and becoming a saint was so difficult. Senior brothers, don't worry. I will definitely find the Saint Heart Grass for you. Ling Xiao said seriously. Ha! Good. However, let's put this matter aside for now. The most important thing for you now is to cultivate diligently. Use the deity's lake and god of war pagoda to increase your cultivation in the next few months. If you can break through to the Divine King realm before the Academy tournament, the champion's seat will definitely be yours. Chong Su said with a laugh, looking very free and easy. However, it was obvious that he didn't believe that Ling Xiao could obtain the Saint Heart Grass. After all, it was a supreme treasure that had been lost for a long time. Ling Xiao didn't say much. He had already secretly decided to search for the Saint Heart Grass. When the time came, he would give his 2 senior brothers a surprise. Ling Xiao left the palace and returned to the High Heaven Pavilion. Elder Chong Su and Elder Chong He were also preparing to make a trip back to the War God Hall to contact their old friends and meet the War God Supreme. When Ling Xiao returned to the High Heaven Pavilion, he saw a few disciples waiting respectfully for him. Senior Brother Long, you are now first on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. You can move to the Big Dipper Palace. Senior Brother Big Dipper has already vacated the Big Dipper Palace and is waiting for you to move in at any time. The few disciples looked at Ling Xiao with incomparable reverence. Big Dipper Palace? No need. Just tell Senior Brother to continue living there. I will still be living in the High Heaven Pavilion from now on. Ling Xiao said, shaking his head. Whether it was the palace or the pavilion, it didn't have much use to Ling Xiao. After all, his current cultivation couldn't be increased by absorbing divine spiritual qi. Yes. Although the few disciples were a little surprised, they didn't dare to disobey Ling Xiao's wishes. After bowing to Ling Xiao, they left. Ha ha ha. Junior brother Long, are you looking down on my Big Dipper Palace? However, the environment of your High Heaven Pavilion is really good. I want to build a pavilion next to it and live here. Before Ling Xiao entered the High Heaven Pavilion, he heard a hearty laugh resounding in the void. Whoosh! Big Dipper, who was wearing a beast skin, flew over from afar. Like a golden divine light, he instantly landed in front of Ling Xiao. Big Dipper's face was resolute. His black hair fluttered in the wind and his aura looked very wild. If senior brother wants to build a pavilion here, it won't be difficult. I will naturally welcome it. Chapter 1462. Junior brother Long, I naturally want to as well. However, I'm afraid that there won't be a chance. After the academy tournament ends, we'll have to head to the War God Shrine. Junior brother Long, what do you think of the academy tournament? Tian Gang said with a smile as he sized Ling Xiao up. The most important thing in the academy tournament is to obtain the 10 spots to enter the Void Saint World, right? However, our Ares College hasn't been able to obtain a good ranking in the academy tournament these past few years. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Although he didn't know the purpose of Tian Gang's visit, he could feel the goodwill that Tian Gang was emitting. Furthermore, Tian Gang was from the Panga clan, and Ling Xiao and the Panga clan were fated. Thus, he wanted to get to know Tian Gang better. Ling Xiao and Tian Gang chatted as they walked side by side, stopping at the top of a mountain. In front of them was a sea of clouds that stretched as far as the eye could see. A mountain breeze blew, making one feel comfortable. In the distance, a divine sun hung high above the sea of clouds, sprinkling down countless rays of golden light. That's right. The most important thing is the spots to enter the Void Saint World. Ares College hasn't been able to obtain a good ranking. In the past few academy tournaments, not a single one of us managed to enter the top 10. Thus, the dean has placed high hopes on us. Tian Gang sighed with emotion. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He hadn't known about this, but he hadn't expected Ares College to be doing so poorly. They couldn't even enter the top 10. Although the academy tournament was said to have hundreds of academies participating, there weren't many that could pose a threat to Ares College. The academy tournament covered the 10 celestial domains near the Grand Celestial Domain. Within the 10 celestial domains, aside from the Grand Celestial, Overlord, Heavenly Sword, and Dezhou's 4 great academies, there were only 2 or 3 academies on the same level as Ares College. The rest were not even worth mentioning. Even so, no one from Ares College had been able to enter the top 10. They were indeed doing poorly. In this academy tournament, we'll take half of the 10 spots to enter the Void Saint World. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, a resplendent glint in his eyes. Even though Tian Gang was extremely confident, he was still shocked by Ling Xiao's words. If Ares College wanted half of the spots, wouldn't that mean that 5 people from Ares College would enter the top 10? This was a little too frightening. Junior brother Long, you, me, and junior brother Zhou Daoji should be able to take up 3 spots. I don't think half of it is possible. Tian Gang laughed bitterly. Don't worry. Xian Wang will take one of the 2 spots, and Yu Yangchen will be one of them. Ling Xiao smiled. Junior sister Xian Wang, there might not be a problem. However, Yu Yangchen is only an early heavenly god. I don't think it's possible. Tian Gang looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. He could see the confidence in Ling Xiao's eyes. He had seen the Xian King's strength before, and he was indeed very strong. There should be hope for him to take one of the spots. However, what Yu Yangchen said was ridiculous. Elder senior brother, don't underestimate Yu Yangchen. He just doesn't want to do his best. If it was a battle of life and death, senior martial brother Zhou Daoji would be no match for him. Ling Xiao said slowly. That guy, Yu Yangchen, had the holy body of misfortune. Ling Xiao had already decided that he would definitely bring Yu Yangchen to the astral tournament this time. With this killer, Ares College might be able to obtain even more spots. Oh. If that's really the case, then junior brother Yi must participate in the astral tournament. Tian Gang glanced at Ling Xiao in surprise. However, he believed that Ling Xiao should be quite confident in his words. Hence, he chose to believe him. Wang! A resplendent rune rose up from Ling Xiao's hand, instantly transforming into a barrier, enveloping Ling Xiao and Tian Gang. Elder senior brother, may I ask if you are from the Panga clan? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked slowly. Tian Gang's body trembled as his gaze turned sharp. He looked deeply at Ling Xiao and asked, how did you know? Tian Gang's terrifying aura intertwined as an incomparably powerful force was hidden. He stared at Ling Xiao as if he was going to attack him at any moment. Elder senior brother, you don't have to be so nervous. Speaking of which, I have some connections with the Panga clan. I wonder if you have heard of the name Panga Chu? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Panga Chu. That's the 3600th patriarch of the Panga clan. However, 1,000,000 years ago, he left the divine realm with a portion of his clan and went to a small world. How do you know the name of my ancestor? Tian Gang was shocked as he stared at Ling Xiao, his heart filled with doubt. Although he didn't say it out loud, it was equivalent to admitting his identity as a member of the Panga clan. I once saw the remains of Panga Chu in the War God realm. Later on, I saw members of the Panga clan in the reincarnation realm. Ling Xiao looked at Tian Gang, his eyes incomparably clear as he explained everything he knew about the Panga clan. Ling Xiao originally planned to hide his identity as someone from the lower realm, but the Panga clan was worthy of his trust. Thus, he didn't hide anything and told Tian Gang about the Panga clan. So, I'm not alone. I still have clansmen. Tian Gang said in a daze after hearing Ling Xiao's words. Unknowingly, 2 streams of hot tears flowed from his eyes. His heart was incomparably agitated as his body trembled uncontrollably. His eyes were filled with hope and excitement. There are still a few thousand members of the Panga clan. When the gate of the God realm opens, they will naturally be able to come to the God realm. Eldest senior brother, what exactly happened to the Panga clan? Ling Xiao looked at Tian Gang and said slowly. Tian Gang calmed his emotions and bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Junior brother Long, you saved the Panga clan. You are a great benefactor of the Panga clan. I can't thank you enough. If you have any instructions in the future, Tian Gang will not even frown even if I die. The bloodline seal of the Panga clan was broken by Ling Xiao. If it wasn't for Ling Xiao, the Panga clan would have no hope of breaking through to the supremacy realm. They would only turn into a pile of dust. Eldest senior brother is too polite. Speaking of which, senior Panga Chu also saved my life. Ling Xiao said as he helped Tian Gang up. Junior brother Long, I really didn't expect you to be an ascender from the lower realm. No wonder the saints of the Holy Lands descended a few years ago to search for ascenders. But don't worry, this matter will rot in my stomach. I won't tell anyone. Speaking of which, I'm afraid I'm the only one left of the Panga clan in the God realm. Tian Gang said seriously to Ling Xiao, but his eyes were filled with unimaginable grief and anger. Chapter 1463. The Panga clan was actually one of the legendary 9 great sovereign clans because their ancestor, Great Emperor Pangu, was one of the 9 great sovereigns of the human race. The Panga clan had always carried out Great Emperor Pangu's will to protect the human race, the divine world, and the demon race. Countless experts had died on the battlefield. As the Panga clan became weaker and weaker, another great sovereign clan began to covet the extreme sovereign weapon, the Panga axe. 1,000,000 years ago, with the start of another great divine demon war, countless experts of the Panga clan died in battle. That great sovereign clan joined forces with the Heavenly Curse sect and killed their way into the Panga clan. They stole the Panga axe and slaughtered countless experts of the Panga clan. In order to continue the bloodline of the Panga clan, Panga Chu led a portion of the Panga clan out of the divine world, while the rest hid in the divine world. However, that monarch clan and the Heavenly Curse sect were insane. They kept hunting and killing our clansmen. In order to exterminate the Panga clan, they didn't hesitate to let the Heavenly Curse sect perform the Heavenly Curse secret technique and leave a bloodline seal in our clansman's bloodline. In the end, the last saint ancestor of the Panga clan sacrificed his own life in order to save my life. He forcibly broke the bloodline shackles in my body and sealed me for 1,000,000 years. Tian Gang slowly narrated, his voice was incomparably low. However, his eyes were wide open and 2 streams of blood flowed down his cheeks. Ling Xiao's blood boiled as he listened. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He recalled the Great Void Emperor's fate. It was also because of the human race's greed that they destroyed a peerless genius who had the potential to become a great sovereign. The Panga clan fought for the divine world and died for the human race without regrets. However, in the end, they ended up like this. The extreme sovereign weapon was stolen and the Panga clan was exterminated. After 1,000,000 years, Tian Gang woke up from the seal and made an oath to wipe out the Heavenly Curse sect and the Great Sovereign clan. That was why he chose to join the Ares College. He didn't even dare to reveal a trace of the Panga bloodline. The entire Panga clan in the divine world has been exterminated. I'm the only one left. This hatred is irreconcilable. Sooner or later, I'll kill my way to the Heavenly Curse sect and destroy the orthodoxy of the Great Sovereign clan. Tian Gang slowly said. The killing intent in his eyes overflowed to the heavens, as if even the 5 lakes and 4 seas would not be able to wash it away. Ling Xiao had never seen such a Tian Gang before. In fact, he was so stubborn that he had gone crazy, dominated by hatred and anger. However, he didn't say anything and he only listened quietly. Right now, Tian Gang needed to reveal the secrets that he had been suppressing in his heart. Otherwise, sooner or later, he would be driven mad. Great sovereign clans? Finally, Ling Xiao asked slowly. Daluo territory, Chinese. Tians of U's great sovereign clan was sovereigns. Ling Xiao nodded. In the entire divine world, the Daluo territory was the core and the largest territory. It was once the place where the 9 emperors cultivated. It was also where the legendary ancient heavenly court was located. However, it was now occupied by a few great sovereign clans. Ling Xiao had heard of the Hua clan in the Daluo territory. They were the family left behind by the great sovereign emperor. The Hua clan now had the extreme sovereign weapon, the 12 heavenly flags. They could set up the 12 heavenly divine fiends formation with unparalleled power. The Hua clan was also one of the strongest forces in the divine world. Although they were both great sovereign clans, the Panga clan was much more respectable than the Hua clan. Senior brother, have you heard of the Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city? These 2 clans are also under the bloodline shackles. They should be forces in the divine world, right? Ling Xiao asked Tian Gang. The Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city were also under the bloodline shackles. However, these 2 forces were extremely mysterious and Ling Xiao had never heard of them. Are you talking about the Feng Shui Li family and the Tomb King city? There are still people from these 2 clans alive? Tian Gang was also shocked. His eyes were filled with incomparable joy. The Feng Shui Li family and the Tomb King city are actually the tomb keepers of the great sovereign Panga. They are closely related to the Panga clan and were also exiled 1,000,000 years ago. At that time, they were massacred by the Heavenly Curse sect. I didn't expect these 2 clans to still exist in this world. Tian Gang explained to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao nodded. No wonder the Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city had the same bloodline shackles. It turned out that they were one with the Panga clan. Ling Xiao also remembered the Heavenly Curse sect and the Hua clan. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that these 2 forces were the scum of the human race. He didn't expect the great sovereign emperor to be such a hero. Ling Xiao looked at Tian Gang and said, Senior brother, they are in the war god world. They are relatively safe now. If the divine world doesn't open for a few decades, no one can threaten them. The most important thing for us is to work hard to improve our cultivation. Only by becoming a saint can we have the strength to protect them. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we will repeat the mistake a million years ago. You're right. Revenge is not urgent. The most important thing is to improve our strength. Junior brother Long, I'm going to go into seclusion to make a breakthrough. This time, I'll try to break through to the Divine King realm in one go. Tiangang took a deep breath and suppressed all his emotions. His gaze became calm again. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao admired Tiangang very much. Tiangang could still be so strong after withstanding so much pressure. His temperament and perseverance were very moving. However, at the same time, Ling Xiao was puzzled. What happened a million years ago that caused the Panga clan, the Feng Shui family, and the Tomb King city to fall into the abyss? Even the Scarlet Dragon War God was forced to leave the divine world. Ling Xiao always felt that there might be some kind of earth-shattering truth hidden in the fog of time. However, with his current strength, he couldn't find out the truth. But Ling Xiao had already remembered it in his heart. Everything would come to light one day. Tiangang left. When he left, he seemed to be very relaxed. It was as if he had put down a heavy burden. Ling Xiao could feel that Tiangang's aura was becoming more and more harmonious. It was as if he had become one with heaven and earth. Maybe it's because of this heavy burden that he couldn't break through for so long. After undoing the knot in his heart, his cultivation will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Ling Xiao said slowly as he looked at Tiangang's back. At this moment, Heavenly Dipper was like a sun that had leaped out of the sea, emitting an endless amount of light. His entire body was emitting an unstoppable and invincible aura. Ling Xiao felt that Tiangang would definitely break through to the Divine King realm this time. I should also continue to cultivate. Chapter 1464. Ling Xiao had received a total of 200 drops of sacred liquid, 2 free entries into the martial repository, and 1 free year of cultivation in the deity's lake and god of war pagoda. Ling Xiao's cultivation had already reached the great circle of the sky god realm. He was just one step away from the god king realm. However, Ling Xiao's breakthroughs were too fast. In just 3 years, he had reached a realm that others would take hundreds or even thousands of years to reach. It was truly shocking. Ling Xiao didn't intend to continue breaking through. He still needed to accumulate experience. Furthermore, Ling Xiao hoped to find his own path in the Void Saint world and then break through to the God King realm. He gave the 200 drops of sacred liquid to Yu Yangchen, Fengya, and the rest. He also gave 1 free year of cultivation in the God of War pagoda to Yu Yangchen and Fengya. Ling Xiao wanted to bring Yu Yangchen along to participate in the academy tournament. Of course, he hoped that Yu Yangchen's cultivation would be as high as possible. With the sacred liquid and God of War pagoda, Ling Xiao believed that Yu Yangchen's cultivation would improve by leaps and bounds. After Bai Susu received the Thunder Emperor technique from Ling Xiao, she was basically in a state of cultivation. As she had the Thunder Dragon bloodline, her cultivation of the Thunder Emperor technique improved by leaps and bounds. Her cultivation also broke through to the mid-stage of the God King realm. As for the 2 free entries into the martial repository, Ling Xiao didn't waste them. He exchanged them for the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path. Ling Xiao had already received the Thunder Emperor technique, so his cultivation of the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique was naturally much faster. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had the Time Cycle Inheritance, which complemented the Great Wilderness Sword Path. It could be said that Ling Xiao had a unique advantage in comprehending the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path. With only a few months left, Ling Xiao was prepared to consolidate his cultivation and tidy up his martial arts. He also wanted to cultivate the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path to greater success. Deity's Lake. This was the most mysterious cultivation ground in Ares College. Even the 9 great kings of Ares College couldn't wait to cultivate in the Deity's Lake every day. If they had to choose between the deity's God of War pagoda and the God of War pagoda, they would definitely choose the Deity's Lake. The Deity's Lake was located in the heart of Ares College, in the middle of a mountain. It was also the core of the 9 Dragons array. The deity's lake was an energy pool formed from the 9 dragon divine arrays' extraction of the divine world's origin energy. Within the deity's lake, not only could one's cultivation speed increase by 10 times or even 100 times, one could also comprehend the divine world's origin energy and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Ling Xiao arrived at the deity's lake. Although only one person could train in the deity's lake at a time, Ling Xiao was ranked first on the hidden dragon list. With Tong Yuan's permission, the entire Ares College's resources were open to him. Thus, Ling Xiao was able to easily enter the deity's lake. This was a very ancient stone pool with a radius of only 30 meters. There was a faint mist in the stone pool, emitting a 9-colored light. All sorts of mysterious scenes appeared in the stone pool. There were countless worlds, mountains and rivers, and countless living beings. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the middle of the deity's lake. Instantly, he felt as if his entire being had calmed down, entering into an ethereal and clear state. The energy within the deity's lake was incomparably warm. Rays of 9-colored light slowly flowed towards Ling Xiao's limbs and bones. It was as if it was purifying his body, making him feel as if he was undergoing a baptism. Roar! A dragon's roar seemed to resound from Ling Xiao's body. His body was sparkling and translucent, and the meridians in his body were like dragons. Behind him, a mysterious dragon's shadow seemed to have formed, emitting an ancient and mysterious aura. Is this the deity's lake? What a mysterious energy! It seems to contain a trace of the divine world's origin energy. Ling Xiao's gaze trembled as he thought to himself. Although the divine realm was able to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth, it was impossible for them to comprehend the divine world's origin energy. Only after they had proven their Tao and become a sage would they be able to comprehend the divine world's origin energy. However, this deity's lake actually contained a trace of the divine world's origin energy. Although it was incomparably weak, it was indeed the divine world's origin energy. With this trace of the divine world's origin energy, Ling Xiao seemed to be able to reflect on himself. It was as if he was a bystander, sensing the strength of his body, the laws of heaven and earth that he had comprehended, and the various martial arts that he had cultivated. This feeling was extremely strange. My physical body has already reached a kind of extreme. If it wasn't for a great opportunity, I'm afraid there's no way for me to improve it anymore. However, with just the strength of my physical body, I can defeat Divine King experts. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. His current physical body was incomparably terrifying. The indestructible war body had integrated his essence, qi, and spirit into one. The divine dragon body had reached the great perfection stage, causing his physical body to reach a kind of extreme. Even if a real divine dragon was here, it might not necessarily be stronger than Ling Xiao's physical body. With the current strength of his physical body, he could withstand a divine king weapon with his bare hands. Without using any martial arts, he could suppress a divine king expert. This was the power of the divine dragon body at the great perfection stage and the 5th level of the indestructible war body. Therefore, to Ling Xiao, it wasn't that important whether he could break through to the divine king realm or not. On the contrary, Ling Xiao had a kind of ambition. He wanted to find his own path to the divine path before he broke through to the divine king realm. Ling Xiao wanted to walk an unprecedented path to the divine path, which was destined to be more difficult than others. Therefore, he needed more accumulation. The Void Saint world was the best place for Ling Xiao to transform and accumulate. It was also a great opportunity that could shorten the time he needed to become a divine saint. Therefore, he definitely couldn't miss it. Rumble. The deity's lake was enshrouded in 9-colored divine radiance. It seemed to form a mysterious vortex that enveloped Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had been severely injured by demon Saint Bo Yu. Although he had consumed the saint liquid to heal his injuries, there were still many minor injuries in his body. In the deity's lake, it was like looking into a mirror. All the minor injuries in his body were revealed. As the energy in the deity's lake surged into Ling Xiao's body, his physical body became perfect and flawless. All the injuries were completely healed, and he became calm and relaxed. The corner of his mouth curled into a smile. His appearance was dignified, and his entire temperament seemed transcendent and mysterious. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the deity's lake. On one hand, he devoured the energy in the deity's lake to cultivate, consolidate his cultivation, and even comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. On the other hand, he was comprehending the five thunder heavenly spirit technique and the great wilderness sword way. With the Thunder Origin Pearl and the legacy of the Thunder Emperor technique, Ling Xiao's process of cultivating the five Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique could be said to be a matter of course. It was very easy for him to comprehend the wonderful effects of this ultimate technique. The most difficult part of the Great Wilderness Sword Way was the power of time. Many people's cultivation of the Great Wilderness Sword Way was extremely slow because they couldn't comprehend the power of time. However, Ling Xiao had already comprehended a trace of the power of time through the passage of time. Therefore, the cultivation of the Great Wilderness Sword Way wasn't difficult for him. Just like that, Ling Xiao cultivated, settled, and went into hibernation in the deity's lake. His strength became more and more unfathomable. Chapter 1465. Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. This was a mysterious region with surging auspicious auras and thousands of rays of divine light. The mountains were majestic, and there were many pavilions on top of the mountains. It was like a mysterious and dangerous place. Upon closer inspection, these mountains were very ancient and exuded a mysterious aura. It was as if there were countless killing arrays carved on them. Waterfalls flowed, ancient trees stood tall, and countless rare birds and beasts ran through the forest. Many ethereal figures danced in the air, looking very peaceful. This was where the Spacetime College was located. The Spacetime College was the outer sect of the Spacetime Heavenly Gate, one of the 12 immortal holy lands. It specialized in sending genius disciples to the Spacetime Heavenly Gate and had countless years of history. The Spacetime College was also the undisputed overlord of the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. Even many divine kingdoms and sects treated the Spacetime College's disciples with incomparable respect. This year's Academy tournament was being held at the Spacetime College. Whoosh! 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 In the distant void, more than 10 figures flew over. Each of them had a powerful aura and an extraordinary aura. In the lead was an old man with white hair and beard and a burly man. They were both divine kings. They were Ares College's Tong Yuan and Han Li. Behind them were 10 figures. There were both men and women. The men were valiant and extraordinary, while the women were peerlessly beautiful. All of them had curious looks in their eyes. Ares College had a total of 10 spots to participate in the Academy tournament. This was also the treatment given to the top academies. Ordinary academies would probably only have 1 or 2 spots. Ling Xiao, Tian Gang, Zhou Daoji, Xian Wang, Yi Liangchen, Wang Lin, Min Rou, Lu Huan, Li Mu, Deng Gangjue, and Lu Zhengfeng. Among them, Yi Liangchen was the most eye-catching. Other than his ugly appearance, his cultivation level was also low. Although Yi Liangchen had received a lot of saint liquid from Ling Xiao, his cultivation level was only at the late-stage heavenly god realm. They had set off from Ares College and passed through dozens of void teleportation arrays. They had crossed hundreds of millions of miles before arriving at the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. This was the first time they had come to the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region, so they were very curious about this mysterious land. The Spacetime Heavenly Gate was extremely powerful among the 12 holy lands, far surpassing the War God Temple. It was even vaguely comparable to the top 2 holy lands. Although there were over 100 geniuses participating in this year's tournament of the 100 academies, the ones that Ares College truly valued were the geniuses from the same academies. The Spacetime Academy of the Heavenly Gate. The 5 Elements Academy of the 5 Elements Saint Sect. The Heavenly Curse Academy of the Heavenly Curse Sect. In addition to the Supreme Academy of the Supreme Tao Palace, the Great Zhou Academy, the Overlord Academy, and the Heavenly Sword Academy of the 9 Imperial Obelisk, these 8 great academies were the focal point of this academy tournament. This was a confrontation between the 8 great academies, as well as a confrontation between the 6 great immortal holy lands. Big brother, I heard that the Spacetime sect, the Five Elements Saint sect, and the Heavenly Curse sect are all in cahoots. They are not friendly to our war god shrine. This time, let's capture them and give them a good beating. Yi Liangchen looked around curiously and said eagerly. I'll have to rely on you. Ling Xiao looked at Yi Liangchen and smiled. The 12 immortal holy lands had their own conflicts. Just like the War God Temple, the Supreme Tao Palace, and the 9 Imperial Obelisk Alliance, the Spacetime Heavenly Gate, the Five Elements Saint sect, and the Heavenly Curse sect were all in the same camp. Because of the Great Chaos a million years ago, their relationship with the War God Shrine was the most tense. For the past million years, the War God Shrine had been suppressed by them, and the relationship between the disciples of the two sects was very complicated. It wasn't just the competition between the core disciples and the true disciples. The competition between the academies was also very intense. In the past few academy tournaments, Ares College had been disgraced and couldn't even enter the top 10. This had caused the other great academies to wantonly mock them, and everyone had been suppressing a ball of fire in their hearts. This time, Tong Yuan and Han Li had placed all their hopes on Ling Xiao and Tian Gang. They also believed that Ling Xiao and Tian Gang would definitely be able to obtain 2 spots in the academy tournament. This time, Ling Xiao had brought Yi Liangchen along with him as a great killing machine. He had already thought it through. If he encountered the disciples of the other 3 great academies, he would immediately close the door and release Yi Liangchen. At that time, they would definitely be pleasantly surprised. You can't rely on me. I won't snatch the limelight from you, big brother. You and Senior Tian Gang will definitely be able to sweep through all the outstanding heroes. Yi Liangchen couldn't help but laugh dryly as Ling Xiao stared at him. He had a feeling that something bad was about to happen. Junior brother Long, whether or not you can become the champion will depend on you. Tian Gang also came over and said with a smile. Tian Gang's cultivation was still at the great circle of the Sky God realm, but his aura had become more complete and unfathomable. Tian Gang originally had the opportunity to break through to the Divine King realm, but he had suppressed it. Tian Gang was also an ambitious person. He wanted to obtain more foundation in the Void's sacred realm before breaking through to the Divine King realm in one fell swoop. Senior brother, don't worry. The champion's position will definitely be mine. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He wasn't overly modest and directly nodded in acknowledgement. This was just an astral tournament, and Ling Xiao had long since set his sights on the entire deity realm. He had even set his sights on the countless geniuses and powerhouses of the various worlds. If he couldn't even become the champion of the astral tournament, how could he even dream of contending for hegemony and sweeping through the universe? Not only Tian Gang, but even Zhou Daoji, Wang Lin, Min Rou, and the prideful Deng Gongjue didn't object to Ling Xiao's words. They knew how terrifying Ling Xiao's battle prowess was, and they were full of confidence in this academy tournament. Tong Yuan and Han Li looked at each other and smiled faintly. But at that moment, an ear-piercing voice rang out in the void. A mere great circle of the Sky God realm dares to boast shamelessly about becoming the champion? Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? Kacha! The void trembled slightly as a resplendent light spread out. A black spatial treasure ship tore through the void and appeared in front of everyone. On the spatial treasure ship were 2 black-robed old men with sinister auras. Their eyes were emotionless, as if they didn't have any emotions. Behind them were 10 arrogant-looking young men and women with powerful auras. Each of them exuded an incomparably mysterious aura. The one who spoke was one of the black-robed young men. He had a handsome face, but his aura was incomparably feminine. His face was incomparably pale, but his eyes were silver, and he looked incomparably arrogant. His cultivation was at the early stage of the Divine King realm. Heavenly Curse Academy, Sima Bo. Tong Yuan's eyes flashed as he stared at the black-robed old man. Chapter 1466. Tong Yuan, it's been 100 years since we last met and you haven't improved at all. How disappointing. Sima Bo glanced at Tong Yuan and said. It's true that I haven't taken that step, but isn't it the same? Otherwise, you would have been transferred back to the Heavenly Curse sect a long time ago. Tong Yuan replied indifferently. However, when he saw the 10 young men and women behind Sima Bo, his expression couldn't help but change slightly and become somewhat solemn. The 10 young men and women were clearly the genius disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy. However, Sima Bo discovered that 5 of them had reached the God King realm while the remaining 5 were at the Great Circle of the Sky God realm. On the other hand, only Zhou Daoji had reached the Divine King realm from the War God Shrine. The gap between them was huge. Especially the black-robed young man who had just spoken. He didn't look old and was definitely less than 100 years old. However, he had already reached the early Divine King realm. His talent was shocking. However, what Tong Yuan didn't know was that Ling Xiao wasn't even 100 years old. Strictly speaking, Ling Xiao wasn't even 40 years old. It was just that ordinary people couldn't see through him. Hee, it's not that easy to take that step. However, my disciples have a lot of hope. I just heard that your disciple wants to take the position of the champion. You're really a newborn calf that isn't afraid of the tiger. Sima Bo laughed sinisterly as he glanced at Ling Xiao. His words were filled with mockery. Obviously, he was mocking Ling Xiao for overestimating himself. A mere great heavenly god who wasn't even a divine king dared to say that he wanted to take the position of the champion. Principal, some people are just frogs in a well. They're just like toads that don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. The black-robed young man glanced at Ling Xiao, as if he was implying something, and laughed disdainfully. Guan Chen, you can't say that. As the saying goes, one must have a dream. What if it comes true? Although others aren't strong enough, they can still dream about it. Sima Bo said with a smile. Principal, some dreams can come true, but some dreams are just fantasies and delusions that can never be realized. Guan Chen sneered. As the two of them echoed each other, the disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy roared with laughter, their eyes filled with mockery. On the other hand, the disciples of the War God Academy turned pale and their eyes turned cold. They couldn't wait to beat the disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy up. Hey kid with no hair on his lips. I think you're itching for a beating. If you didn't have enough milk, go home and look for your mother. My big brother will definitely be the champion of this year's competition. My big brother can beat 10 little brats like you. Yi Liangchen was scared. He glared at Guan Chen and sneered. Tong Yuan's ugly. Guan Chen's expression changed immediately. Yi Liangchen's insulting words had triggered his anger. A powerful aura was released from his body as if he was ready to fight at any time. Yi Liangchen sneered. He was extremely arrogant. The disciples of the War God Academy felt relieved. They were still complaining about Yi Liangchen's participation in the Academy tournament, but now, they couldn't wait to hug Yi Liangchen and kiss him. Yi Liangchen had never been afraid of anyone when it came to talking. Guan Chen was about to go crazy. He pointed at Yi Liangchen and trembled. A late heavenly god was arrogant enough to say that he would teach him a lesson. He was a genius of the Heavenly Curse Academy and an early divine king. He could crush Yi Liangchen with one hand. He even wanted to attack Yi Liangchen and kill this bastard who had a foul mouth. Sima Bo stopped Guan Chen and looked at Tong Yuan coldly. Tong Yuan, you old man. Take care of your disciple. He will get himself into big trouble sooner or later. Tong Yuan felt very comfortable. He sneered and replied, Sima Bo, you should take care of your disciple first. I'll say it now. Long Outyen will definitely be the champion of the Academy tournament this time. Tong Yuan naturally had absolute faith in Ling Xiao. This was a ruthless person who could kill Bo Yu in close combat. Although he had many secrets, the stronger he was, the better it would be for Tong Yuan. If Ling Xiao couldn't win the championship, then the others wouldn't be able to either. Champion? Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Tong Yuan, you old man. Since you have so much confidence in your disciple, why don't we make a bet? Sima Bo rolled his eyes and suddenly sneered. What do you want to bet? Tong Yuan asked calmly. How about this, we'll bet on the final results of this year's Academy tournament. I bet that he won't be the champion of the Academy tournament. If I win, I'll let your 10 disciples shout, "I'm trash," in front of all the other disciples of the 100 Academy. How about that? Sima Bo said casually. However, his words caused the expressions of Tong Yuan and the other disciples of Aries Academy to change, and a trace of anger appeared in their eyes. This Sima Bo was really sinister. It seemed like it was not difficult to shout, "I'm a good-for-nothing," but at the level everyone was in, it was the time to charge towards the divine path. They needed to advance bravely and press forward with indomitable will. If they shouted, "I'm trash," in front of everyone, their Tao heart would definitely be damaged. At best, it would delay their breakthrough to the Saint Realm, and at worst, it would destroy their Saint Realm foundation. This was simply a scheme to kill them all. The people of Heavenly Curse Academy were truly sinister. Suppressing the anger in his voice, Tong Yuan said, "If Ling Xiao becomes the champion of the Academy of the 100 Academies, will the 10 disciples of your Heavenly Curse Academy have to shout, 'I'm trash,' in front of the other disciples of the 100 Academies?" Sima Bo frowned, but still smiled. Of course. Since it's a bet, both sides have to be equal. However, I'm afraid that you won't dare to bet. Sima Bo was using the most clumsy method to provoke Tong Yuan. Speaking of which, Tong Yuan was also somewhat hesitant. Although he was full of confidence in Ling Xiao, there were too many geniuses gathered in the Academy tournament, and there were too many unforeseen circumstances. The champion's position was unique and supreme. If something unexpected were to happen, then even if Ling Xiao obtains second place, Aries College's bet would still be considered a failure. Heavenly Curse Academy was certain of this, which was why they dared to make such a bet. Furthermore, this didn't concern Ling Xiao alone, but rather 10 disciples. Even if Ling Xiao was willing, the others wouldn't be willing to take the risk with him, right? Chapter 1467. That's right. What's there to be afraid of? I believe in Junior Brother Long. Junior Brother Long, kill them all. Show these bastards your strength. We'll bet. Tian Gang, Zhou Daoji, Lu Zhengfeng, and the others all agreed to this bet. They were all hot-blooded youths, so how could they allow the Heavenly Curse Academy to be so arrogant? They were willing to believe in Ling Xiao because he was their savior. Moreover, they had personally seen Ling Xiao display his unparalleled divine might and destroy demon sage Bo Yu's body. That was something that not even a divine king could do, but Ling Xiao had done it. They also believed that Ling Xiao would definitely be the champion this time. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "Dean, since someone wants to humiliate themselves, why don't we fulfill their wish? I'd like to see how this bunch of trash will have the face to participate in the Academy tournament." After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Tong Yuan steadied his confidence and coldly said to Sima Bo, "Sima Bo, since you want to bet, I'll bet with you. However, to prevent anyone from going back on their word, everyone will have to swear a heart demon oath. Do you dare?" Sima Bo was surprised. He had only wanted to gain the upper hand with words, but he had never thought that Tong Yuan would agree to this bet. After all, Long Outyen was only a peak Empyrean god. There were quite a few early God King experts in the Academy tournament this time, so a mere peak Empyrean god wanting to become the champion was no different from a fool's dream. However, when he saw Tong Yuan and the others' confidence in Ling Xiao, he began to feel bewildered. Could it be that this brat really had something extraordinary about him? However, he was now in a difficult position, so he naturally didn't want Tong Yuan to see his fear. He immediately sneered. "Very well. Then let's swear a heart demon oath together." Thus, before the astral tournament had even begun, Aries Academy and Heavenly Curse Academy had already engaged in a shocking gamble. Although there were no disputes over benefits or resources in this bet, it was even more vicious. No matter which side lost, their Tao hearts would be damaged, and they might not be able to recover from the setback. They would fall from genius to mediocrity. Let's go. After swearing the Great Heart Demon Oath, Tong Yuan took a long look at Sima Bo and the others before leaving with Ling Xiao, Tian Gang, and the others, flying in the direction of the Spatio-Temporal Academy. Sima Bo looked at the departing figures of Tong Yuan and the others with an uncertain expression. Dean, are you worried that the kid called Long Outyen has something special about him? However, there was nothing to worry about. No matter how strong his combat prowess was, it was impossible for him to be Yuan Fei's match. Moreover, don't forget about those two freaks from the Spacetime Academy and the Five Elements Academy. The black-robed old man beside Sima Bo sneered. His gaze landed on a white-robed youth in the middle of the 10 disciples. The white-robed youth had a calm expression, and his eyes were incomparably deep. His entire person exuded an incomparably mysterious aura. The others looked at the white-robed youth with reverence in their eyes. Even the arrogant Guan Chen was full of respect for this white-robed young man. Yuan Fei, the peerless genius of this generation of the Heavenly Curse Academy. He possessed the cursed physique and was fully deserving of being the #1 expert. The cursed physique was known as a peerless physique that was comparable to a supreme saint physique. It was only slightly inferior to the legendary Heavenly Curse sacred physique. He should have been nurtured as a true disciple of the Heavenly Curse Academy, but he had stayed in the Heavenly Curse Academy to participate in the 100 Academy tournament and obtain a slot to enter the Void Sacred Realm. After seeing Yuan Fei, Sima Bo's heart calmed down slightly. He smiled and said, "You're right. I was worrying too much." This time, only those two freaks from the Spacetime Academy and the Five Elements Academy can compete with Yuan Fei for the championship. The others won't be able to. When the two freaks from the Spacetime Academy and the Five Elements Academy were mentioned, Yuan Fei, who had always been calm, revealed a strange expression. The names of those two freaks had already spread throughout the few heavens. They were famous for their prowess, and their strength was unparalleled. This time, even Yuan Fei had the intention of exchanging pointers with those two freaks. This time, the 100 Academy tournament was destined to be a gathering of geniuses. Countless geniuses would clash, and an incomparably intense battle was bound to erupt. Tong Yuan brought Ling Xiao and the others to the Spacetime Academy. The Spacetime Academy looked like a paradise. Auspicious vapors rose from it, and multicolored lights shone brightly. Ancient trees towered high into the sky, and the spiritual qi here was incomparably dense. It had even turned into a spiritual mist. An old man with a sage-like demeanor had already heard the news and welcomed Tong Yuan and the others into an exquisite courtyard. His name was Lu Yunxi, and he was an elder of the Spacetime Academy. He was in charge of receiving the participants of the 100 Academy tournament. "Fellow Daoist Tong, fellow Daoist Han, I'll have to trouble you to stay here for the next 2 days. If you need anything, feel free to instruct your servants. The 100 Academy tournament will officially begin in 3 days. During this time, aside from a few restricted areas in the Spacetime Academy, you can move about freely." "Excuse me." Lu Yunxi cupped his hands towards Tong Yuan and Han Li with a smile, then hurriedly left. The powerhouses of the various academies had arrived at the Spacetime Academy over the past few days, and the elder in charge of receiving them was frantically busy. Soon, the Spacetime Academy became lively. The geniuses of the various academies arrived one after another and exchanged pointers with each other. Due to the hot-bloodedness of the youths and the fact that they were all geniuses, no one was willing to submit to another. Although the elders of the various academies had restrained their disciples, there were still many small-scale fights. The Regal Academy, Sky Sword Academy, Great Zhou Academy, and Overlord Academy had all arrived. The Regal Academy was naturally led by Qinglian, who was an acquaintance of Ling Zhao's, Fang Chong. The Sky Sword Academy was led by a disciple called Jian Wangsun, the Great Zhou Academy was led by Ji Yuanlong, and the Overlord Academy was led by Jin Gang. Soon, Qinglian and Fang Chong came to see Ling Xiao. "Congratulations, Senior Sister Qinglian. You've broken through to the God King realm." Ling Xiao glanced at Qinglian, a glint flashing in his eyes as he smiled. Although Qinglian was wearing a long green dress, had a beautiful face, jade-like skin, and a peerless beauty. Her entire body emitted a sharp sword intent, like a peerless divine sword that had been unsheathed, making people not dare to look at her directly. Her cultivation had already reached the early God-King realm. Ling Xiao could tell that Qinglian had probably just broken through, which was why her aura was still so sharp, and she had yet to completely restrain it. I've made some progress recently, and I even broke through before the academy tournament. However, junior brother Long, you're really famous wherever you go. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and smiled faintly. Why do you say that, senior sister Qinglian? Ling Xiao asked in surprise. After arriving at the Spacetime Academy, he hadn't gone out to wander around. Instead, he had been adjusting his aura and comprehending martial arts. Chapter 1468. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and said, Junior brother Long, we all know that you defeated senior brother Tian Gang in the Ares Academy's generational competition, but we didn't expect you to be so strong. However, the champion of the Astral Tournament isn't that easy to obtain. Under the intentional promotion of the Heavenly Curse Academy's disciples, the bet between Ares Academy and Heavenly Curse Academy spread throughout the entire Spacetime Academy, and Long Outyen became famous. However, almost everyone was waiting to see Long Outyen and Ares College become a laughingstock. One had to know that among the numerous geniuses participating in the tournament of the 100 academies, there were more than 20 Divine King Realm powerhouses. Long Outyen was merely at the great circle of the Heavenly God Realm, yet he was so arrogant as to say that he would be the champion. Many people were mocking him, waiting to see Ares College lose face. This was naturally something that the Heavenly Curse Academy was happy to see, and even the Great Zhou Academy's disciples joined in. Ji Yuanlong hated Ling Xiao to the bone, so he naturally wanted to use this opportunity to attack Ling Xiao. The Astral Tournament hadn't even begun, but Ling Xiao's image had already been ruined. Junior brother Long, we know that you are very strong, and you should have the strength of a divine king. However, there are too many geniuses in this Astral Tournament, and it will be too difficult for you to obtain the champion's position. Junior brother Long, you are too impulsive. Fang Chong smiled bitterly. Although his words were tactful, it was obvious that he didn't think that Ling Xiao could obtain the champion's position. You don't have to worry. I am confident. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, not minding these rumors at all. Since everyone was waiting to see him make a fool of himself, Ling Xiao would naturally give them a pleasant surprise during the Astral Tournament. Qinglian said, Junior brother Long, since you know what you are doing, we won't say anything else. Speaking of which, this year's Academy Tournament is actually a showdown between our 8 academies. Although Sword King's son, Ji Yuanlong, and Vajra have all broken through to the God King realm, I believe that they shouldn't be a match for you. However, you need to pay attention to 4 people. Oh. Senior Qinglian, please speak. Ling Xiao asked. Although the Academy Tournament hasn't started yet, there are 4 people who are hot favorites to win the championship. Many people are saying that the champion will most likely be one of them. The first one is Yuan Fei from the Heavenly Curse Academy. He has the body of curses and his cultivation is at the early Divine King realm. His art of curses has reached perfection. He can kill people without them noticing. He is also the strongest expert in the Heavenly Curse Academy. Qinglian said slowly. Cursed body. Ling Xiao had a strange look in his eyes. He thought of Yu Yangqin's saint physique of misfortune. Although the cursed body was a powerful physique, it was far inferior to Yu Yangqin's saint physique of misfortune. He wondered what would happen if Yuan Fei met Yu Yangqin. Ling Xiao was looking forward to it. Seeing that Ling Xiao was slightly distracted, Qinglian continued, the second one is Jin Xianzong from the 5 Elements Academy. He has the saint physique of metal, which is one of the innate saint physiques of the 5 elements. He is also at the early Divine King realm and the strongest in the 5 Elements Academy. It is said that he has already touched upon the true meaning of the Holy Tao. He is known as a freak. The third one is Shi Bufan from the Spacetime Academy. It is said that he has a trace of time origin energy in his body and is proficient in the law of time. He is at the early Divine King realm and has killed more than 10 Divine Kings and Demonic Kings. He is very strong and will be a strong opponent for you. Ling Xiao nodded. He had heard of these three people before and they were indeed very strong. However, it was understandable that they had such strength since they were the absolute geniuses of the Heavenly Curse Academy, the Five Elements Academy, and the Spacetime Academy. Moreover, Ling Xiao was participating in the Academy tournament not only to enter the Void Saint world, but also to spar with the geniuses of the Divine Realm. The stronger his opponent was, the more it would stimulate his fighting spirit. Qinglian said, however, you have to be careful of the fourth person. He is Duan Shuilu, a disciple from a very small academy called the Green Mountain Academy. He is at the early Divine King realm and does not have any special physique or bloodline. However, his comprehension is extraordinary and he is extremely passionate about the Tao of the Blade. It is said that he has entered the Tao of the Blade and comprehended the Saint Tao true meaning. He has never left any of his subordinates alive. When Duan Shuilu was mentioned, Qinglian's gaze turned slightly serious. She cultivated the Tao of the sword and had a pure heart of the sword. She naturally knew how terrifying such a pure sword cultivator was. Although such a person did not have exceptional talent or physique and was born into an ordinary family, he had an indomitable spirit. He had risen from nothing and was far more terrifying than those absolute geniuses who were born with a golden spoon in their mouths. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly nodded. When Qinglian mentioned the first three people, Ling Xiao did not pay much attention to them. However, the last person, Duan Shuilu, had piqued his interest. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao also rose from nothing and walked step by step from the mortal world to where he was today. Naturally, he knew the hardships along the way. Ling Xiao's physique was very ordinary. He did not have any innate saint physique or powerful bloodline. The dragon bloodline in his body was inherited from Long Han Yen and he had devoured the dragon bloodline several times. That was why he had the divine dragon bloodline now. The higher one's cultivation realm was, the deeper one's understanding of heaven and earth became. The more Ling Xiao understood that the strongest part of a cultivator was not their weapons, martial arts, physique, bloodline, or birth. It was their heart. The stronger his heart was, the stronger his strength would be. There was a vast world in his heart and everything in the world in his heart. There was a way to prove the Tao in his heart. Therefore, a person like Duan Shuilu was undoubtedly extremely terrifying and worthy of Ling Xiao's attention. Thank you for telling me, senior sister Qinglian. Ling Xiao smiled at Qinglian. He knew that Qinglian and Fang Chong were worried about him. That was why they collected the information and told him. It's good that you know what you are doing. Your talent is not weaker than any of them. It's just that your cultivation time is too short. If you are given a few more years to break through to the Divine King realm, I believe that they will not be your opponents. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and sighed softly. Fang Chong also persuaded, junior brother Long, it's good to be the champion. If you can't, don't force it. What we are fighting for is the future, 10,000 years, the future of the divine path. I hope you can stay true to your heart and not be defeated by setbacks. Qinglian and Fang Chong were most worried that Ling Xiao would be provoked by the people of the Heavenly Curse Academy and his Tao heart would be damaged. That would be the most terrible thing. Senior sister Qinglian, senior brother Fang, 10,000 years is too long. I am seizing every moment. I said that the position of the champion is mine this time, so no one can take it away from me. Chapter 1469. Qinglian and Fang Chong left. Although they admired Ling Xiao's confidence and courage, they were still very worried about whether Ling Xiao would be able to obtain the position of champion. However, when they saw Ling Xiao's mental state, they finally relaxed. They knew that Ling Xiao's will was firm, and he would definitely not collapse because of the bet with the Heavenly Curse Academy. At the same time, they went back to rest and cultivate. Qinglian was naturally going to fight for the 10 spots to enter the Void Saint world. Fang Chong would probably not be able to enter the top 10. However, the top 100 would have extremely generous rewards, so it was worth looking forward to. Ling Shao remained in seclusion and continued to comprehend the Great Wilderness Sword Principle and the Five Thunder Heavenly Spirit Technique. Ling Shao had already cultivated these two ultimate techniques to the greater realm and was not far from the perfect realm. Other than Ling Zhao's shocking comprehension, it was also because he had the inheritance of the Age of Time, the Thunder Emperor technique, and the Thunder Origin Pearl. With such unique conditions, his cultivation naturally improved by leaps and bounds. Junior brother Long, bad news. Junior sister Xian Wang has been surrounded by people from the Five Elements Academy. A hurried voice jolted Ling Shao out of his cultivation state. Wang Lin stood at the door of Ling Zhao's room and said anxiously. Ling Shao ended his cultivation and walked out of his room. He said indifferently, "What happened?" His expression was very calm, but his voice contained a cold aura. Junior sister Xian Wang and junior brother Yi met disciples from the Five Elements Academy in the Spacetime Academy. They spoke rudely to you and spoke very harshly. Moreover, a disciple from the Five Elements Academy even wanted to take liberties with junior sister Xian Wang. In the end, he was taught a lesson by junior sister Xian Wang. Therefore, the people from the Five Elements Academy surrounded junior sister Xian Wang and junior brother Yi. However, the dean and eldest senior brother were out today, so I came back to look for you. Wang Lin quickly explained to Ling Shao. Originally, Wang Lin was not convinced of Ling Zhao's strength. However, after the battle with Demon Saint Bo Yu, she respected Ling Shao in her heart. Therefore, when something happened to Xian Wang, she immediately thought of Ling Shao. Let's go. Ling Zhao's gaze turned cold as he quickly headed outside. Previously, he had heard from Qinglian and Fang Chong that many people were ridiculing Ling Shao, thinking that he was overestimating himself. They were all waiting to see him make a fool of himself. Ling Shao didn't think much of it, but he didn't think that some people would really seek death and bully him. Fine, since you dared to stand out, I'll use you to establish my might. Ling Shao coldly thought in his heart. He had already treated the disciples of the Five Elements Academy as targets to establish his might. Some people were just like that. The more you gave in, the more they would think that you were easy to bully, and the more they would want a yard after taking an inch. Therefore, the only way was to ruthlessly beat back those who dared to show their face. Spacetime Academy, Full Moon Peak. The scenery here was very beautiful, surrounded by a sea of clouds. Standing at the top of the mountain, one could see the strange scene of the sun and moon shining together. It was very mysterious. Furthermore, he could absorb the essence of the sun and moon here, which was very beneficial to his cultivation. For the sake of this year's Academy of the 100 Academies tournament, the Spacetime Academy had generously opened Full Moon Peak to the public, and many people had come to take a look. On a square at the top of the mountain, Xian Wang and Yu Yangchen were surrounded by 5 youths wearing 5 Elements Taoist robes. The 5 youths had extremely powerful auras, and their faces were incomparably cold. They looked at Xian Wang and Yu Yangchen arrogantly. The 2 youths in the lead were early divine kings, and the other 3 were great heavenly gods. Such a lineup could be considered extremely powerful. After all, the strongest cultivators in many ordinary academies were only great heavenly gods. Junior sister Xian Wang, you want to leave after injuring my junior brother? Aren't you looking down on the Five Elements Academy? One of the early divine kings was tall and handsome. He had a head of fiery red hair, and his body was emitting a blazing aura. His eyes were incomparably cold, and he looked at Xian Wang and Yu Yangchen arrogantly. What do you want? Xian Wang asked indifferently. Yu Yangchen sneered and said, this brat spoke vulgarities and insulted senior brother Long. He even dared to flirt with senior sister Xian Wang. If your Five Elements Academy doesn't know how to discipline him, then we will. Giving him 2 slaps is already a light punishment. Do you still dare to stand up for him? Many people had gathered around to watch the show. Most of them were disciples from ordinary academies. Even Ji Yuanlong from the Great Zhou Academy had brought a few disciples to watch from the side. His eyes were filled with sneers. What a joke! Since when did you have the right to discipline the disciples of my Five Elements Academy? You've injured junior brother Wang, so kneel down and apologize. Otherwise, don't blame me for bullying you. The youth with fiery red hair sneered. The aura around him became even hotter, as if it was a flame that was about to burn. The other disciples of the Five Elements Academy also revealed unkind expressions. Especially the disciple whose face was swollen by the Xian King. His name was Wang Qi, and his eyes were filled with resentment. Kowtow and apologize? Do you think you're qualified to do that? Let me tell you, don't provoke me. Otherwise, when I, Yi Liangchen, get angry, even I am afraid of myself. Yi Liangchen sneered with an arrogant look on his face. Isn't this ugly bastard called Yi Liangchen too arrogant? He's only a late heavenly god, yet he dares to talk to a divine king like that. I think he's tired of living. That's right. This brat is definitely going to suffer. But that Xian Wang is too beautiful. Her aura is simply peerless. In this year's Academy tournament, there's no one who can compare to her. The spectators discussed animatedly. They were all waiting to see Yi Liangchen make a fool of himself. Some people's attention was on Xian Wang, and their eyes were filled with passion. Brat, you're courting death. The youth with fiery red hair had a cold look in his eyes. The aura around him was like an erupting volcano. He slammed his palm towards Yi Liangchen. Rumble. A resplendent sun seemed to have appeared in the center of his palm. This palm print was incomparably terrifying. It turned into a monstrous flame, as if it was going to burn Yi Liangchen into ashes. Some people even began to show signs of reluctance. They were afraid that Yi Liangchen would be turned into ashes by this palm print in the next moment. After all, the gap between a late heavenly god and a divine king was too big. Trash, you're forcing your grandpa Yi Liangchen to get angry. Yi Liangchen sneered. There was no fear in his eyes as well. He threw a punch towards the red-haired youth. Boom! Yi Liangchen's punch didn't seem to have any energy fluctuations. However, a thunderous explosion sounded in the void. Then, the sky changed color. A resplendent sunlight and a gorgeous moonlight fell at the same time, turning into an incomparably mysterious light. Crack! The flames that filled the sky exploded in an instant, turning into a resplendent rain of light. Yi Liangchen's punch had actually landed on the red-haired youth's face. Bang! He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Chapter 1470. What? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw the scene before them. Yi Liangchen was only a late heavenly god. However, he managed to injure the red-haired young man with just one punch. This was beyond their knowledge. Is that the sun divine power and the moon divine power? This guy can actually summon the sun divine power and the moon divine power. How is that possible? Someone was shocked and a serious expression appeared on his face. Full Moon Peak was very strange. Legend had it that it contained a holy array that could gather the sun divine power and the moon divine power. The yin-yang divine power and the moon divine power formed by the sun divine power and the moon divine power was extremely powerful. Almost no one below the Saint Realm could withstand it. When Yi Liangchen punched out just now, it actually caused the mysterious sunlight and moonlight in the void. That was obviously the sun divine power and the moon divine power. Impossible. The sun divine power and the moon divine power are the power of the Spacetime College's protective mountain array. Only the president can activate it. Ordinary people can't control these two types of divine power. It must be a coincidence. A disciple from the Spacetime College retorted. It must be a coincidence. I heard that the full moon peak is very strange. Sometimes, the sun and the moon will appear in the sky. Maybe the sun divine power and the moon divine power just happened to appear. Someone explained. Only then did they feel slightly relieved. After all, if Yi Liangchen could really activate the sun divine power and the moon divine power, the entire Spacetime College would be shocked. They would go and check if there was something wrong with the protective mountain array. Bastard, you deserve to die. The red-haired young man was embarrassed and angry. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Yi Liangqin's punch didn't injure him too badly. However, his handsome face was swollen. This made him hate Yi Liangqin to the extreme. Boom! A blazing aura rose up. The red-haired young man was surrounded by flames. A mysterious flame rune flew out from his palm and instantly turned into a fire kirin. It was emitting a murderous aura as it charged towards Yi Liangqin. Is this the 5 elements creation skill? Legend has it that it can create 12 types of ancient divine beasts. It seems like Yi Liangqin is in trouble. Someone exclaimed in surprise. The 5 elements creation technique was one of the fundamental techniques of the 5 Elements Academy. When the red-haired young man used the 5 elements creation technique, it was obvious that he was enraged and wanted to kill Yi Liangqin. Roar! That fire qilin roared into the heavens, emitting monstrous flames. Its ferocious might was matchless, ancient and mysterious as it pounced towards Yi Liangqin. It's just a simulation of the fire qilin's true intent. It's not the real fire qilin. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of me? You're courting death. Yi Liangqin said proudly. Then, his eyes lit up and he threw another punch at the fire qilin. Crack! It seemed as if there was a bright lightning exploding in the void. The terrifying lightning suddenly enveloped the fire qilin. Moreover, there was a mysterious sunlight and moonlight pervading in the void. It was exuding an incomparably terrifying power fluctuation. What? The red-haired young man was about to go crazy with anger. His eyes were filled with incomparable depression. The fire qilin exploded in an instant. Moreover, the sunlight and moonlight intertwined and turned into a yin and yang murderous aura. With a loud bang, everything was destroyed. The red-haired young man had no way to dodge. He directly crashed into his chest. Boom! The red-haired young man's chest caved in. This time, his injuries were even more serious. Dozens of his ribs were broken, and he spat out blood. Is this a coincidence? Why did the sun god power and the moon god power appear again? Isn't Yi Liangqin from the Aries Academy? Could it be that he's a spy from the Spacetime Academy? Everyone was dumbfounded. They couldn't even speak clearly. If the appearance of the sun god power and the moon god power was a coincidence, what was happening now? The full moon peak seems to prohibit private fights. It must be their fight that triggered the protective array, which triggered the sun god power and the moon god power. That must be it. The disciples of the Spacetime Academy muttered to themselves as if they were convincing themselves. However, their expressions became more and more unpleasant. But at this moment, how could anyone believe it? This was too strange. A disciple of the Aries Academy, who was merely a late-stage heavenly god, was actually able to trigger the sun god power and the moon god power. This caused everyone to look at Yi Liangqin in a different light. At this moment, they finally came to their senses. Perhaps the Aries Academy had their own reasons for allowing Yi Liangqin, who was only a late-stage heavenly god, to participate in the tournament of the 100 Academies. That was, Yi Liangqin was really extraordinary. Seniors, these two dared to bully senior brother Chen. They're simply looking down on our 5 Elements Academy. Everyone, let's attack them together and punish them. In the 5 Elements Academy, the disciple who was being taught a lesson by Xian Wang shouted. His eyes were filled with coldness. Boom! The 5 disciples of the 5 Elements Academy had unfriendly expressions. Their gazes were incomparably cold. Killing intent rose from their bodies. Powerful auras intertwined and locked onto Xian Wang and Yi Liangqin. The red-haired young man was injured by Yi Liangqin's 2 punches, which made them lose face. However, they were incomparably fearful of Yi Liangqin. Therefore, they were prepared to attack regardless of the consequences. You pieces of trash. You can't beat me one-on-one, so you want to bully me with numbers? Come. If I, Yi Liangqin, don't beat you into a pulp, I'll change my surname to yours. Yi Liangchen sneered. He was incomparably arrogant and domineering. However, no one dared to mock or look down on him now. He had used his strength to prove himself. Even a divine king expert had been defeated by him. Everyone's expression became incomparably solemn. I'm going to kill you. The red-haired young man spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was distorted. His red hair danced wildly in the wind. His eyes were filled with crazy killing intent. He recklessly pounced towards Yi Liangchen. Boom! However, suddenly, a resplendent divine light exploded in the void. Moreover, it was accompanied by a crisp dragon roar. It was ancient and majestic. It enveloped the red-haired young man. It was a dragon-shaped fist. Blood chi filled the sky. It was incomparably ferocious. Its speed was extremely fast. It directly collided with the red-haired young man. Kacha! The red-haired young man's arm directly exploded into a bloody mist. His entire body was instantly sent flying. He let out an incomparably miserable cry. Amidst the divine light that filled the sky, Ling Xiao stepped on the sky. His white robes were whiter than snow. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His indifferent and resplendent eyes swept across the crowd. Finally, his gaze landed on the people of the Five Elements Saint sect. The people of my Ares Academy are not people that can be dealt with by any random person. If you don't want to die, scram. Chapter 1471. Above the full moon peak, Ling Xiao stood in the air as if he had become the center of the entire world. Everyone's gaze landed on him. Who is he? He's only at the great circle of the heavenly god realm, yet he possesses such terrifying physical strength. Even Chen Kai was no match for him. Could he be Ares College's Big Dipper? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with incomparable shock. Ling Xiao's ferocious punch was purely based on the strength of his physical body. A vast amount of blood and chi surged, as if a real divine dragon had exploded in front of everyone. That kind of invincible charm was deeply imprinted in everyone's hearts. He's not Big Dipper. He's Long Outyen, the one who claimed to be the champion and sweep through the academy tournament. A Heavenly Curse Academy's disciple said coldly. What? He's Long Outyen. No wonder he said that he would be the champion. His combat strength is indeed extremely strong. It seems like the four great prodigies have found their match. Although Long Outyen has some strength, how can he be compared to the four great prodigies? Just his great circle of the heavenly god realm cultivation alone is his greatest weakness. I think he has a chance of entering the top 10, but he can forget about being the champion. Ares College has been quiet for so many years. Could it be that they want to shock everyone this time? Everyone looked at Ling Xiao in the air and discussed with different expressions. Some were curious, some were gloating, and some were disdainful and mocking. Big brother, can't you come a little later? I haven't had my fun yet, and you've stolen the limelight. Yap Liangchen said with a sullen face. The feeling of showing off just now was really satisfying. Yap Liangchen was still planning to sweep through the Five Elements College and teach those guys a lesson. In the end, Ling Xiao came. You'll have your chance to show off in the future. I'm not trying to steal your limelight. If I didn't come, you would have been beaten to the ground. Ling Xiao glared at him in exasperation. The person who can beat me to the ground hasn't been born yet. These five guys are all trash. They won't be able to withstand a single blow. Yap Liangchen said proudly. That's not necessarily true. Ling Xiao said slowly. His eyes shone with a divine light as he looked at the vast sea of clouds in the distance. Boom! A resplendent golden light exploded there, and a resplendent golden figure soared through the sky with extreme speed. It was like a newly born sun, leaping out of the sea of clouds and rushing into the heavens with unstoppable momentum. Boundless saber will bloomed in the void. It was like a Milky Way, shrouding the entire world. Under the heavenly river stood a handsome young man wearing a golden dragon armor. He had sword-like eyebrows, starry eyes, and a handsome face. His body exuded a mysterious golden light, and his eyes were extremely bright. It was as if there was a mysterious blade light emanating from them. He stepped on the celestial river and instantly appeared in the sky above the full moon peak. Its eldest senior brother. Big senior brother, you have to uphold justice for us. The people from Aries College are too much. Eldest senior brother, you must teach them a good lesson. The Five Elements Academy's disciples revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression as they bowed towards the young man. He was the Five Elements Academy's eldest senior brother, Jin Xianzong. He was also one of the four geniuses who had the highest chance of becoming the champion. It's Jin Xianzong. This one has the golden virtues sage body, and his strength is unparalleled. This is going to be interesting. I wonder who is stronger between Long Outyan and Jin Xianzong. Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes were filled with anticipation. The academy tournament had yet to begin, but everyone already knew about the most outstanding geniuses of this generation. Among them were Heavenly Curse Academy's Yuan Fei, Five Elements Academy's Jin Xianzong, Spacetime Academy's Shibufan, and Qingshan Academy's Duan Shuelu. They were the four geniuses who had the highest chance of becoming the champion. Due to the Heavenly Curse Academy's unbridled publicity, the bet between Aries College and Heavenly Curse Academy had spread far and wide. Long Outyan, who was only at the great circle of the Sky God realm, had actually shamelessly boasted that he would become the champion. Naturally, he had become the target of ridicule. With the Heavenly Curse Academy's publicity, Long Outyan had even become the butt of everyone's jokes. Today's conflict between Xian Wang and the Five Elements Academy was mainly caused by the Five Elements' disrespectful words to Long Outyan. You're Long Outyan. Jin Xianzong looked down at Ling Xiao with an indifferent expression. You're Jin Xianzong. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't directly answer. Instead, he asked a question of his own. You're indeed very strong, but you're only at the great circle of the Sky God realm. If you want to become the champion of the academy tournament, aren't you overestimating yourself? Jin Xianzong said indifferently. Ling Xiao calmly replied, you can try whether or not I'm overestimating myself. Are you challenging me? Jin Xianzong's eyes flashed. Challenging you? You can interpret it that way. Actually, what I'm saying is that if anyone isn't convinced, they can come and try. Let's see whether or not I can become the champion. Ling Xiao said calmly. Everyone was stunned. Did Ling Xiao mean to issue a challenge to everyone? Where did his confidence come from? You don't know the meaning of death. Eldest senior brother, this brat is definitely not your match. Chen Kai looked at Ling Xiao with a venomous gaze. Jin Xianzong looked at Ling Xiao indifferently and said, whether or not you can become the champion is not up to you, nor is it up to me. Everything will only be decided in the academy tournament. However, you've injured my Five Elements Academy's disciples today. You should at least give us an explanation, right? What explanation do you want? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Very simple. Apologize to my junior brothers, and I won't pursue the matter on account of Dean Tong. Jin Xianzong said. Apologize? Impossible. Xian Wang said coldly. That's right. Why should we apologize? It's obviously your Five Elements Academy's disciples who are shameless. How dare they have designs on senior sister Xian Wang? Beating them up is already a light punishment. You should make them apologize to us. Yi Liangchen said with a cold smile. Jin Xianzong, I'm sure you know what happened today. It's impossible for us to apologize. If you want to draw a line, I'll let you do it. Ling Xiao said indifferently. There was a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Long Outyan, don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you have some strength. I don't want to fight today, but it doesn't mean that I'm afraid of you. Jin Xianzong's eyes turned cold as he stared at Ling Xiao. Golden divine light lingered around his body. Streaks of divine light were incomparably sharp. They were like resplendent blades, causing his aura to become incomparably sharp. Do you want to fight? Very well. You can try.